Alright, we're good.
Be like,
Bussin' with the boys, hanging with the fellas, betting on a game. No woman's gonna tell us what to do, and I've been over here just drinking beer and making that noise. Baby, I'm hanging with the fellas, bussin' with the boys. Bro.
Little point. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Bussin.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
With the boys, episode 301. We want to thank you so much for joining us. And before we truly get into it, I want to talk to you about our good friends at Chevy. There's a reason why we've never done a tier talk of best pickup trucks, and that's because Bussin' with the boys, there's only one pickup truck, and that is the Chevy Silverado. Why is that? That's because Silverado is a partner you can depend on. We've all spent time driving and using the Silverado for all kinds of adventures and other shenanigans. Silverado was a partner with us in the spring tour, and they have been now that the fall tour is all locked up through the entire fall tour. They have massive screens. We're talking about 8 cameras with 14 different angles to help driving, towing, and parking all easier. We love the bold, blacked out look of the new Silverado HD Trail Boss. There's a reason Chevy is America's most awarded brand for new vehicle quality over the last 3 years, according to J.D. Power. Will Compton, let us know about your ZR2, brother.
Blacked out head to toe.
Blacked
ZR2. Everybody knows what I rip around.
She's beautiful. The only color you really need with a truck is black.
Yes. And she's beautiful.
It really is. We're in that thing just a couple of days ago, man. I just felt more safe and secure than I ever have being on the highway.
It's a good drive.
It's nice, smooth.
It
performs well, and you could be going literally 80 miles an hour, 65, whatever the speed limit is, and you just feel like you're not even moving. It's so nice.
We follow the rules.
Follow the rules around here, dude. Do us a favor, head over to Chevy.com, build your own Silverado or Silverado HD, and check out all the current offers on Silverado. Discover a world of strength and capability, all behind the wheel of our favorite truck, the Chevy Silverado. Chevrolet received the highest total number of awards compared to all other brands in the J.D. Power 2022 to 2024 U.S. Initial Quality Studies. Visit jdpower.com/awards for more details. Awards based on 2022 through 2024 models. Now, a couple housekeeping things. Every week, we have a team meeting, and in that team meeting, Mitch pulls up the YouTube, pulls up searches, this, that, and the other thing, and it says, these are the people, returning viewers. These are people that are subscribed, people that are still not subscribed. I know. Listen, I'm going to talk to you right now. I am a big dumb idiot. Sometimes I'll just watch videos over and over again, and I'll think I am subscribed. I am doing something to help out this channel. Just go ahead and give it a check. See if you're subscribed. If you're not subscribed, if you are subscribed, great, grand, wonderful. Tell a friend. If you're not, just click the button. It's going to help us out a whole bunch, and it doesn't take anything off of your life. Please do us a favor. Also, tomorrow, which is now today, November 5th, 1 p.m. Central Time, we are streaming Red Dead Redemption 2. Again, we're doing a 3-hour stream. We did 5 hours last week. This we're doing 3. I don't know if the boys in the back, they might also be doing a stream this Friday. You guys doing one this Friday? Yeah. Boys in the back also doing one this Friday. Look out for Sherm. Apparently the boys were very nasty to him in the chat this past week. It's okay. If anybody can do that, that's you, Sherm. And then finally, one last thing on housekeeping. Wednesdays, the locker room. Now, we're going to brush over a couple things.
Thursdays.
We record on Wednesdays. It is. We record on Wednesdays. Excuse me. Thursday, 6 a.m. Central Time. The locker room is coming out. That is when we get into the details of what happened this past week, what we're going to think is going to happen in the following week in the NFL and college football world. We got parlays, we got picks, we got anytime touchdown guys. And if you want to, you can shout out what email? info@bussinwtb.com.
info@bussinwtb.com if you want a chance to be featured on the show with your little selfie video call-in parlay. It can be a parlay for college, NFL. It can be a combination of both. Player props or team bets. Combine them. Send in a selfie video of you putting together your favorite parlay. info@bussinwtb.com. And again, the locker room. We preview the weekend. The boy Taylor, he's been on the whiteboard the last couple weeks. People have been loving it. We've been seeing the comments. But yeah, come hang with the boys. We talk ball.
Talk a little ball.
We talk a little ball.
It's nice. It's very nice. I hope you guys come and enjoy. Obviously, Delaney Walker's there as well. Let's get into it, boys. What do we want to talk about first? The weekend?
Is that all the housekeeping stuff we need to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
I'm just sitting. I feel like I'm sitting on this bus.
Yeah.
surrounded by the enemy.
Do you want to tell the people what you're talking about?
Yeah, a vlog dropped last Thursday on Halloween of all the boys, all of Bussin TP in my house. TP and the boy Will.
How'd that make you feel?
TPN in the game of TPN, in the game of Mischief Night, I respect it.
Okay.
I'm a fan of Mischief Night.
Shout out Rocket Power.
Yeah, shout out Rocket Power. It was the in-between that's got me bothered. It's got me rattled.
The in-between being Wednesday was when we did TP. You're talking about Thursday before 6 p.m.
Yeah, because I was in Chicago. I flew to Chicago Wednesday night, woke up Thursday morning. The neighbor group chat hit the chat saying like, hey, do you guys have any extra toilet paper? We're out right now. With a photo of our house being our tree being TP'd. I saw that, so I'm going back and forth a little bit in the neighbor group chat. I'm thinking in my head, my neighbors got me. Like I'm thinking it's my neighbors. Like I'm ready to absolutely destroy their yard. JP reaches out. I'm thinking we'll get the boys together. I'll get all of us together, and we'll just we will absolutely dominate my neighbors. Because we were shooting the pro football show early, so I could get back for Halloween, and it wasn't until on the way to the airport in my Uber to where I'm realizing, oh shit. Maybe it wasn't my neighbors. Because my wife, Charles, she's like, hey, you haven't really said a whole lot about the TV. I'm like, what do you mean? I mean, we kind of know who it is. It's our neighbors, right? And she's like, no, it wasn't them. They just saw it first. And then I'm like, oh, shit. Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess all suspects are open here. I'm thinking to myself, obviously, I've posted from my house before. It could be a fan that's drove by because people have seen me out in the yard playing with Waffle, playing with the fam, and shouted out, the boy. And could be them, or it could be my own guys.
Yeah.
My own guys, I'm thinking enemy number one, Lewan.
Fair statement.
I'm saying that's enemy number one. And from there, I'm thinking, all right, who else on the bus, who else on the squad helped him out? I'm sure he didn't do it solo dolo. So I come in, I land at like 1:30, come straight to the bus. We had to shoot the Nebraska hype video. And I just start pressing everybody. I'm working with JP at first. Thought I was working with JP at first.
Which is wild.
He's using, I got got. At the end of the day, I get over the TP part. I don't forget. I don't forget who lied to my face.
Point them out.
All of them. Everybody.
Who didn't lie to you?
What
Me.
do you mean? Yeah, but you were. You was like, yo, I'm ready to go wherever you need me. I'm just
who we getting?
I'm texting Taylor like I'm just disappointed because I'm thinking in my head like it's got to be Taylor. I don't know how yet. There's a lot of lying that went on, and it was that's the hardest part.
Yeah,
that's the hardest part.
Right, just knowing that you're essentially alone right now.
Yeah. Knowing that there's nobody to trust. I get my ass absolutely beat by the UCLA Bruins on Saturday, and you're just like, I got nobody right now. I got nothing to root for. I'm just a whipped dog. I see South Carolina win. I want to say congratulations to JP, but I don't want to say congratulations.
He texted you?
No, I didn't text him.
Oh.
He tried texting me about Nebraska. He's like, hey, this and that. I just look at it. I put my phone down. Sherm, he's texting me every now and then. I can tell he's trying to feel out where my brain's at.
Yeah.
But I just thumbs up him. I say, sounds good.
Dude, Will and I.
We can talk work. I can root for the boys. We can talk work. I can separate the two. But I before I walked out of that building on Thursday, when I knew the entire team got me, I looked everybody in the face. I said, is there anything you guys want to tell me before I walk out of here? Because this will have implications. Personally.
Will and I.
They said no.
Will and I went to a lunch on Wednesday. And then we obviously did what we did.
A big lunch. To where Taylor and I, we sat in my truck and we had a great heart-to-heart.
A great heart-to-heart talk. Like one you look back on, you're like, man, top 5 probably.
Yeah.
Then
friendship seems strong.
Wednesday night, we did what we did. And literally Thursday, I'm thinking to myself.
And the boy wasn't even home.
Yeah, we need to unpack that in a second. Then Friday morning at what, 9:30?
Yeah, we have a breakfast.
We have to expand on that Wednesday conversation.
We have to have a big conversation.
Right. So we have a Friday breakfast, and I have not spoke to Will about this. Literally, once the vlog comes out, we don't even speak to her. I'm thinking to myself.
He sends me a text, but it's Happy Halloween with the devil face, with the smiley devil face. I just write back, Happy Halloween.
Yeah, so I don't even know. I think I'm about to show up to this breakfast by myself. Will and I walk into Stay Golden.
Late for the meeting. Yeah, late for the breakfast.
We see each other, we smile, and then obviously business faces, and we spent 60% of that breakfast just talking about all the things that transpired Thursday afternoon when he was interrogating all of you and what went through his head that he kind of basically explained a little bit. Now, well, go ahead, Sherm.
Hey, boss man, Mr. Compton. Quick question. We heard tell that there was possibly a rat amongst us. Somebody that gave you a little intel.
Yeah. That happened. I mean, again, when I left on Thursday, I knew that a vlog was coming out. I didn't know what time it was. And I knew that it was everybody in the building that got me.
Who was the rat?
I don't know. You was fucking ratting some people out in a way as well. You was ratting too. Yeah, I was going to say,
I was ratting.
Jeeves said it where we were talking. I was talking about the scope of the game and everything else. Like, you was even alluding to shit as well. You alluded to the OGs on the bus. To where in my brain, then I'm thinking like, oh, damn. JP's involved on this. Because he's been trying to ally me the entire morning.
It's going the way you wanted, Sherm? When you thought to ask this question, did you think?
Do not let him split us up. Do not let him split us up. There was one rat. There was one rat.
So you know?
But still, you were bullshitting too.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, who's not here right now? I was like, well, Taylor's not here, but he's never really here.
Okay, hold on.
My fault.
On Thursday, you're right. I spent time with my family on Thursday.
Yeah, on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I got
but
you.
He's never here.
I got you. But I'm thinking Taylor's involved in this. I already understand that. And I'm thinking, who else? And you're trying to get me to pay you when I've already given you.
Which is fucking crazy.
When I've given you a couple weeks ago, an expensive grill that I have loaded into your truck. And I'm thinking, you want me to give you more when I feel like I've given you enough?
For a little info.
So he's like, let me be your lead. Let me be your lead.
Snake ass, Sherm.
He's like, let me be your lead.
That is crazy.
Investigator. He's like, I'll just put you on the scent. I'll put you on the scent. He's like, hey, I don't think Coop and Jared would do it. He's like, I think you need to look at the OGs, the back of the bus. Who would lead that? Who would lead that charge? So I go one by one. I'm like, Garrett? He's like, I don't know. You think Garrett would lead? You think Garrett would lead it? Like Jack? He's like, I don't know. You think Jack out of that crew back there, you think he would lead it?
I didn't say that.
And then I'm like, I think I have an idea who would lead it. But yeah, you was fucking
Mitch. You said when you left Thursday you knew. So someone had to tell you.
No one told me. No one told me.
That's a lie.
Who said it then? If I'm lying, who said it?
I heard that Demon snitch on the boys.
Who'd you hear that
For
from?
those who don't know who Demon is, go and say his
Jared
full
Beeman.
name.
Jared
He's the one who
Beeman.
pulled the gun. If you watch the vlog, he's the one who had a gun on.
I heard,
Whoa, Jared, what are you doing? Hey, put that thing back. Put that back in the car.
I heard gun slinging Beeman, aka Demon.
Okay, well
Snitched.
here we are again. Who'd you hear it from?
I have my sources. You a little bit of scratch.
I
could put you in the right direction.
Sure, you can't blackmail your bosses.
Is that blackmail?
No, you're trying to get more reward from him, but bro, there's nothing to be rewarded from.
That's not blackmail.
The info's out.
Yeah, the info's out there.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
The vlog is out.
So who said that Jared ratted?
Demon.
Says who?
Demon told me. Demon ratted on himself.
You ratted Demon.
See what's happening here, boys, is we are slowly getting torn apart. This might be the thing that ends Bussin with the boys.
Nobody told me.
You said you knew when you left Thursday.
Yes, I knew.
Yeah, but bro, he texted me Thursday
snitched
afternoon and
without
said, I'm
actually
disappointed.
snitching.
Wait.
And that's when I called JP and I was like, what the fuck happened?
What was that?
He snitched without snitching.
How did he do that?
I can't tell you. Listen, I'm the one surrounded by all you guys. Why would I say anything to help you out?
Boys, we know what we have to do.
Go again.
We got to get Beeman. We got to end Beeman. We got to blow up his house or something. Oh, he's in an apartment.
We gotta take his cat.
We got to steal his cat. Mr. Pumpernickel, what's his cat's name?
Miss Biscuits.
Miss Biscuits. Just a man that lives by himself with a cat. We're taking that cat. We're taking that cat. Does he have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Is it his girlfriend's cat?
He said that. He says they got it together, but it's at his place.
Nah,
Yeah,
man.
I realized I didn't have
no.
to do that again.
You don't get a cat together with someone you don't live with.
100%.
You get a cat.
You got cat food recently, right?
Damn, I did. I almost took a photo of it the other day because I had to go to PetSmart. I was kind of banged up on a couple cans, and I'm just standing in line with cat food in my hand. This dude in front of me is a cart with like 3 big ass bags of dog food. Looks back at me and kind of like smirked, and then just stayed back in line like, God damn it. Yeah, dude, I don't control my world. I will tell you guys right now. I do not. When I go home, I'm a minority. I get picked on. I get beat up. Low T household. Very low T household. So that's what I'm fucking dealing with. We all got problems, Will. Yeah, you deal with a little bit of TP.
I'm saying, well, you had, up until that point, you had an ally outside of your household. And I would think to myself, like, I can count on Will. What a loyal, like, what an incredible friend. And I'm going to go in TP's house while he's gone.
This is the same incredible friend that said, I can't wait for Michigan's downfall
and then
last
lie
year.
about it.
Lie? When did I lie to you?
I said it to your face, though.
But when did I lie to you?
You knew where I stood.
When did I lie to you?
What are you talking about?
Are you talking about the TP?
When you're saying, oh, is this the part where you blame me for TP in your house? Will, I didn't do it. Wherever you need me tonight.
Let me
wherever
double
you
check
wanna
those
go.
texts. I thought I didn't say I didn't do it.
Well, because part of me sits there, the damage is already done, and I don't want to have to ask the question because I don't want you to lie to me through text.
Let's see. Will Compton just he sends a gift. Black guy doing this. And what a gif. Will, what do you want? How can I help you? Text me back. Just disappointed. LOL. And what? Is this the part where you start blaming me for the TP? We still good for state gold tomorrow. And then no response. I didn't say nothing about I did it or didn't do it. You knew I fucking did it. The fact that your brain went to my neighbor did it is just crazy.
Well,
you should have seen that photo and
I
immediately thought to yourself, Taylor.
Well, because I woke up in the morning, my phone there was already text too, so I kind of look, I'm kind of like, I need to get in the shower, I need to go get over to HQ to do the pro football show, and so I'm just thinking that my neighbors had fun and just got the solo tree because they're like, hey, is there any more? You guys have any more TP? We ran out, and they were the ones who sent the first picture, so I'm just thinking like they must have just had fun last night.
Right.
So that's why I thought that. I wasn't thinking to myself like somebody got me until I realized like, oh damn, maybe it goes beyond the neighbors. Like, damn.
I want you guys in the back of the bus to know that I've already hired security. I have security at my house at night, every night from here on out.
No, you didn't.
I'm not gonna
Come by the house sometime. Find out, Mitch.
Whoa! Aren't you guys on the same team?
No, bro. This was 9 individuals. This was 9 individuals working as one for one night. Now we know.
We had to get a vlog out.
Yeah, we think of vlog. What's next? Who's next?
Sad I couldn't be part of it. Maybe that's part of it as well. But I'm not gonna get revenge. You don't gotta worry about that.
Yeah, whatever.
You know what they say about revenge? On the journey to revenge, start by digging 2 graves, one for your enemy and another for yourself.
I disagree with that statement.
Marcus Aurelius, the best revenge is to be unlike the person who injured you.
Frank Sinatra, the best revenge is massive success.
Best revenge is served cold.
James Bond.
Just saying, I just want guys to know, disappointed, I'm hurt, and I won't forget.
Let's continue the hurt. What happened with UCLA and Nebraska this weekend?
Dog, I don't know, man.
It was an off day for Raiola. Off day.
Yeah.
Just tough.
You take Ohio State into the fourth quarter, and you'd think you're not going to allow a 2-5 team to come into Memorial and beat you.
Right.
And handle you kind of like they handle us. We came on late, but again, it's like even if we would have won that game, the speech in the locker room is like, guys, we got to get rolling sooner. We can't wait until the second half to get shit going.
You got to start the fight.
Yeah.
You got to start the fight.
Because even coming out of the second half, we throw a pick 6.
Yeah, man.
It sucks, man. I don't know. I don't have words for the fan base. I do know we're sitting at 5-4 right now with a bye week and 3 winnable games. UCLA was a winnable game for us. I think everybody before the year started, you chalk Ohio State up as a loss. Whether or not we felt like we had a shot, whatever it is, when you're just trying to be as unbiased as possible, so, okay, we could see us dropping this game in Columbus after a bye week.
Right.
Or after them having a bye week. And you look at these next 4. I think before the year you would have thought USC would be a good team. They're not a very good team. You'd think Wisconsin would be a lot stronger than they are. I think they're a winnable game as well. And obviously Iowa's they can be tough. Like that's a battle for the border. But you have 3 winnable games. We're in the same spot where we won 5 last year. We were sitting there again at what, 5-4, 5-3, and then we lose out.
Yeah.
We ended up 5-7.
Yeah.
And we're sitting here again, 5-4. You have 3 winnable games, and you don't want to fucking end up 5-7.
Don't even say it.
I'm saying, but that's like the reality. That's the
Yeah,
reality. And
think
that's
about the positives.
That sucks. Well, the positive is
You could be 8-4.
Yeah, the positive, we can be 8-4, but I'm not inside the building.
Talking
like
about the
I'm not
Capital One
inside
Bowl.
the locker room. I'm not inside those kids' minds. Like I know you sit there and you can win out and end it on a good note. Go bowling again. We had the opportunity to go to be eligible for a bowl game with a win over UCLA. We still do each game, but we got to figure it out.
It's on the shoulders
you
of
got
Matt
cats.
Rule.
We can win games. It's just you've got to fucking put the product out there.
Yeah, man. I get it.
It's
I know.
tough.
I know the pain. I'm dealing with a team with the same record.
Yeah, but you know, the same record. Like we're obviously different programs right now.
What do you mean?
We've had come on, man. Decade
We
of
have the
losing.
same record.
I know, but you guys won a national title last year. Like everybody knew this would be kind of a rebuild year for you guys.
Do we think it was going to be this?
I don't
Frustrating?
think I don't think it was going to be this.
Vegas didn't think so. Vegas had us at 9.5 wins.
Was it 9.5? Yeah. I don't think I imagined Michigan being in the spot that you guys are in right now. I knew that there'd be a rebuild. Like you guys could have probably been like a 9-3, 10-2 type team is what I was thinking before the year started. With it coming down to probably the Ohio State game at the end of the year. But
Yeah,
no, I absolutely did not think you guys would be in the spot that you're in now.
To me, it's with Michigan. If we just had more of a consistent play at quarterback, we're in a much better position right now. Now I don't know who we have. We got Indiana this week. That's a tough ball club.
Yeah,
That's a
Indiana's playing
fucking
good,
ridiculous ball club. Then after that, you've got Northwestern, winnable. And then Ohio State at the end of the year. And I'm telling you, dude, you just throw records out the window when it comes to these kind of rivalries. You see Ohio State with Nebraska last week.
For sure. Like Ohio State's
That's a beatable-
liable to be in close games that they shouldn't be in.
And Michigan mentally has them right now.
Right.
Mentally has them. So
And the mentality plays because you look at this past weekend with Ohio State, Penn State.
yeah.
It's like Penn State's. I mean, they got the roster to compete and
And they were on the
outplay them.
2-yard line, and they were in the same play 3 times in a row. That's just wild. People
Ohio
are already
State,
saying
incredible
James
goal
Franklin,
line
we got to get
defense
rid of
from
this
Ohio
guy.
State.
Team is consistently ranked in the top 10 every single year. And then people are
I
calling for
want to
his
say
head.
a crazy stat that I saw is that Penn State is like 1-22 since 2000 and since 2000. With James Franklin, he's now 1-13 since
1-13.
James Franklin's been there.
Top 5 teams, you're saying, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Versus AP top 5.
Which is it's a horrible feeling to be in that sort of position. Penn State, 1-22 against top 5 teams since 2000. That's just fucking tough. And that game was winnable, very winnable,
Their offense didn't score a single touchdown.
which is crazy.
I know, man.
Threw a pick six.
Through a pick 6.
Refs are always sussing the fucking Big Ten, dude.
Refs just need to fucking calm down a little bit. They just too much laundry on the field. Let the boys play. Let them get a little chippy. Let them get after a little bit. That's fun.
Mm-hmm.
You want to enjoy that. Let's flip it over some positive. Well, actually, one more thing. Dan Lanning, you're a piece of shit for going for scoring with 15 seconds left in the game.
Covered.
That's all I'm going to say.
Late cover by Lanning.
I like Lanning. I know that. Don't fucking pull the photo up.
They're just playing ball. He has no clue.
He could have took a knee and moved on.
I'll tell you this: head coaches have no clue what spreads are.
That is such a take the photo off the screen. Take the photo. That was a few weeks ago. That was me celebrating an Ohio State loss. Was what that was. That was me celebrating an Ohio State loss. We don't need to have that on the screen.
You know what's great about that photo is it all played out in reality. Like he's got you by the shirt, pulling you around.
Relax.
I'm just saying.
God
He
damn
celebrate
it.
with you, just knowing like I'm about to dummy you here in
Yeah,
a few weeks.
literally just holding
I'm
me.
about to dummy you.
That's like a scene from The Departed. Like so many people just He just helped me with something, but knowing he's going to get me in just a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heartbreak Hotel, dude. Yeah, that was a tough game. And we were fucking in it, too. We were in it. We go for it on 4th down in the red zone to get it. Don't get it. They end up scoring. It just... And also, back shoulder throw on Oregon's first drive. Throws a back shoulder throw. That ball drops on the ground.
What's his name?
They kicked the PAT.
Will Johnson. Will Johnson.
No, Will Johnson didn't play. He didn't play that game.
Is he number 2?
He's number 2, but he didn't play.
Yeah, that was on him.
Bro, I'm telling you, he wasn't in the game. He has a lower leg injury. He did not play. I even Googled it. Oh, look at that.
Maybe it
12.
12.
He's got to add a digit. Yeah, the 1 snuck in there.
I saw the 2 thinking.
But
like,
he drops this ball. They kick the PAT, and then they show the replay. You guys are going to tell me we have all this technology in the world now, all these camera angles, and no one's going to say nothing until after it's over? That's pretty wild, right?
That is wild. That's a miscall.
And on the same exact drive, block in the back that would have taken them out of field goal range. That was not called. Very obvious block in the back. Then Michigan doesn't get the 4th down. Those 3 things happen. Michigan wins that ball game.
I don't know if you guys are ever winning, but yes, it's a close game.
What are you talking about? 38-21.
I'm with yeah.
But there was a moment where
It was a moment where it was close. Yes. 38-17.
Late cover. Thank God. I placed an irresponsible
Just
bet.
crazy that Lanning wants to do that to the reigning national champs. That's wild.
Wait, the new apex predator, man.
He's
Oregon
a duck.
Ducks.
He's a
Oregon
duck.
Ducks in the Big Ten.
The ultimate apex predator is now a duck.
Yeah,
Dude.
yeah.
One of the most fragile things out
Who do
there.
you think's going to be in the Big Ten championship?
Indiana and Oregon.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Indiana is a strong ball club. Who is Spagnetti? What's the dude's name? Signetti. That guy, with him hitting the press conference, Google me, I win quote, like, dude, that is, and then just continues to do what he does. You put on an Indiana ball game right now, the commentators are saying this guy from Auburn, that guy from FSU, this guy transfers out the ass. This dude said, fuck a rebuild. We're going to go in to Bloomingdale? What the hell is this? Bloomington? And we're just going to rewrite history with this ball club. That is nuts.
It's going to come down to that last game of the year. Indiana at Hawaii. At
Hawaii.
At Ohio
yeah.
State. And that's going to be the play-in.
I think
to play
Indiana
Oregon.
wins that game.
Yeah, that'll be an awesome game. Indiana's playing well, man. They're rolling, ranked top.
They got to watch out for
10.
Michigan. They got to watch out for Michigan. I'm just telling you.
For sure. They can't overlook any of these games. So here's our predictions. The first college football playoff ranking comes out tonight as you're listening to this episode. And we had some rankings at the beginning of the year. Let's see how we've done. I have in there Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Florida State. Oh my God, what a brutal pick. The ACC now is going to be SMU or yeah. SMU or Miami. Then I had Alabama. I don't think they get in. Oregon, Utah, which
there's ass.
yeah, it's a bad pick. Ole Miss, bad pick. Nebraska, bad pick. Notre Dame can get in with the rest of their schedule. Tennessee is in an interesting spot. They could still get in. Oklahoma State, bad pick. I think the Big 12 man is going to come down to Kansas State. They just lost. Yeah. But they still have. They can still win out because believe they got Iowa State, which is going to come down to Kansas State, Iowa State. I think Colorado.
BYU's still in.
Oh yeah, my fault. No disrespect to BYU. Yeah, BYU's in there.
Shout out the Super Soakers.
Yes, yeah. I completely forgot about BYU. That's on me. But yeah, even Colorado can still do it, bro. They're a 2-loss team right now, and they have a schedule that they can win out on.
Lost to some good teams.
Right.
Good ball clubs.
But they could be on the outside looking in. Like, let's say BYU. Bring up BYU the rest of their schedule. Because, yeah, BYU has Utah, Arizona State, Kansas, and Houston. They could win out. Say Iowa State takes care of business. It'd be BYU and Iowa State. And if Colorado's in there like a 2-loss team on the outside looking in, if BYU throttles Iowa State, Colorado could be looking at a late spot to get in there. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy,
That'd be
man.
wild. I'm gonna skip over my first name that I have.
Michigan?
Yep, but I'm gonna go Texas, Georgia, Oregon, Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Ohio State, LSU, Tennessee, Alabama, Mizzou. That's a tough one. And then I had Iowa in there as well.
That's a bad one.
That was just two kind of.
Yikes.
That was-
A couple
that
of
was pretty
yikes right there.
How many do you think gets in from the SEC? You guys have a better pulse on the SEC right now. SEC's wide open. It's fucking awesome.
It's a wide open
It's
game
awesome.
right
All of college football is wide open.
Probably 3. Georgia, Texas. Georgia, Tennessee play next. Now this coming weekend with the next. Tennessee, we have Mississippi State, then Georgia. And then I feel like it'll probably be pretty cemented in who's going to be in. But then you have Tennessee closed with Vandy, and they could shake shit
Vandy,
up. and ruin it.
Vanderbilt. Let's
So
fucking go,
kind of
Vandy.
scary, but yeah, I think probably Georgia, Texas, Ole Miss, or Tennessee.
Where
One
is
of
the
those two.
Vandy Tennessee game?
I believe it's in Knoxville.
It's in Knoxville.
Oh, is it here?
Oh, is it?
Okay.
You gonna go?
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'll go if it's here for sure.
And I mean,
It's
South
always at
Carolina had a
Thanksgiving.
massive win, bro, over A&M. You guys finish out being a 3-loss team. Like, there's going to be a few 3-loss SEC teams that are going to be argued about to get in the college football playoff.
There's so many good 3-loss teams.
Yeah.
And really, it's so funny just with Vanderbilt. Like this week, South Carolina versus Vanderbilt is massive.
Big implications.
Huge implications. I know. I have to go to a freaking wedding in Franklin.
God!
So I'm gonna go Friday night to the hotel. see if I can't talk to the team, talk to Beamer, make sure we stay on the right path.
Bro.
But no, I mean,
The fall, isn't this your second one?
yeah.
Fall weddings.
Fall
Fuck,
weddings,
man.
dude.
And the fact that it's here in town.
I know.
Imagine if you had to go to South Carolina for a wedding.
Yeah, that's painful.
Brutal.
the
But yeah,
game-
dude,
Gamecocks.
it's
be
going to be,
sneaky.
this is the best year possible to have a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
This is going to be,
Turning out to be.
it's, yes. Like last year, you saw kind of the top 6-7 teams. It was pretty much laid out where it was at. But this year, it's like, who knows?
And what makes
Everyone has shown
Yeah.
blemishes. Georgia this week against Florida.
and what makes
Literally
it fun
could have
too,
lost that. Was rooting for Florida to win that game just because I love chaos. Like nothing against the dogs.
Yeah.
You just kind of put it on. You're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
let's see this go down right now.
Yeah.
Always rooting for Vandy for some
It's
reason.
got to be. Yeah. It's got to be Oregon. Oregon has to be, I feel like, head and shoulders above everyone else. Not head and shoulders,
As
but
as of right now.
the way their
yeah.
season has gone, too, they do get better every single
Here's
week.
what I worry about, dude, is when we were in Oregon watching this Ohio State, like you see Ohio State run out the tunnel. Their boys are bigger, like just talking about like in the trenches.
Mhm.
Their boys are bigger, stouter, like they had a look about them that Oregon, I don't really see. I don't see Oregon like having the durability or
Right, I
the
was
like
gonna
the
say,
yeah.
movement when it comes down to true trench warfare at the end of the day. Like the SEC, you see them cats. Like when we were in LSU last year or at watching Tennessee warm up versus Alabama.
Right.
You just kind of worry about,
Just some animals in those SEC
yes,
locker
bro.
rooms.
They got some fucking studs.
And it's
on
going to be
both
fun
sides of the
too
ball.
because every week from here on out, it's going to have implications, which makes the college football playoff that much more fun. It's like even with the NFL, when teams are like on the fringe, you're kind of like, you're trying to play ahead to be like, okay, they need this to happen to get in the playoffs.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
That's what's going to be happening with college football, but
That's
with
the
so
fun
many
game.
more teams.
Yeah. Because, dude, being in the locker room and being like, okay, all right, if the Colts drop 2 out of 3 and this team, and you're just like in that moment of like, oh, we still have a path to the playoffs.
Right.
That is like the best feeling.
Right.
That's actually not the best feeling. The best feeling is when you already locked it up. You got a first
Yeah,
seed.
scroll down on this top 25. Like, yeah, the worst team right now is ranked 25 Louisville and Vanderbilt at 24 and 25, both at 3-loss teams. Like every team in the top 25 has a path. Like if you're in the Big 12 or the ACC, maybe not as much, but if you're in the SEC, Big Ten's got some cats. Like it's going to be nuts, bro. Every game is going to have implications, which is going to make it that much more fun every week to tune in on Saturday.
One
Yes.
thing that people are bringing up is Army plays Notre Dame in 2 weeks. Army is still undefeated. If Army, don't know. But if Army beats a top 10 Notre Dame team and then they win the American and Boise State wins out and wins the Mountain West, under the current rules, there's only one group of 5 champion that would, like, you make it if you're the top ranked conference champion of a group of 5.
Right.
But could Army or Boise still sneak into that top 12 just based solely on their record? Like, have both Boise and Army make it?
I mean,
That'd
if
be
Army's
sick.
undefeated, man.
If they beat a
they
top
gotta
10
be
Notre
in.
Dame,
Especially if you're sitting here arguing about.
Florida State was undefeated last year.
Yeah, but this is a 12-team playoff now. I think if you're sitting there, and I think there's all these good teams in the SEC, but if you're sitting there arguing over SEC 3-loss teams to get in, and Army sitting there undefeated, it's like you have to go. You know, that's why the regular season matters, right?
America
That's
would be
when
a
those
better place with
conversations on
Army
the
in,
regular
man.
season matters.
would you put him in over a 1-loss Boise and their only losses to Oregon, the number 1 team?
Who they played very well.
Yeah, they were winning that game.
Yeah, I don't know. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Because if Notre Dame loses
Bro,
to
he went
Army,
off
they're a
again this
2-loss
week.
Notre Dame team. I think they'd be out of it.
Scatabo went off this week, dude. Yeah, it's fun. I thought with this NIL thing that more teams would separate themselves, like the kind of the premier programs would separate more and more. But it seems like it's getting more scattered than ever. Like
Yeah.
teams are just coming out of the woodwork, grabbing these other 5-star guys that just didn't want to wait in line at these like Alabamas or these Georgias, and they're
Right.
just going to other places. And they're really fucking doing something.
It's going to
man.
be sick, bro. It's
Yeah.
going to be sick. Coaching's getting exposed, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Do we want to hit some NFL?
Sure,
We're-
let's pop into it, dude. Let's pop in.
Yeah. You know what? That's a great call, Mitch. Let's hit an ad. Let's hit an ad read.
While you
Throw
hit that,
it
I'm gonna
up.
pee real quick.
Okay, yeah. Go tinkle. Go tinkle. Great one right here because there's some ups and downs in the that I had in the sports book over the weekend. The NFL season is rolling along and the contenders are separating from the pack. The one thing that hasn't changed this season, DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL, is the number 1 place to bet touchdowns, fade to the corner of the end zone, running back breaks through the line and gallops 60 yards to score. We don't care how they get them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings is the best place to do it. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like a player to score a touchdown. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Here's a reason for new customers to do a touchdown dance of their own. When you bet just $5, you will get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Score big with the DraftKings Sportsbook, the number 1 place to bet on touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code BUS. That's code BUS, B-U-S, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Speaking of the touchdown bets, man, the touchdown parlay, we can't get right. I mean, Derrick Henry got 2 for us. Only counts as 1. We had Derrick Henry. We had Swift from the Bears, and we had David Montgomery from the Lions. Jahmyr Gibbs scores. I wanted to kill myself because it's like, which one do you pick there? They all have a lot of touchdowns on that team.
Those two are unreal. The Lions are unreal.
I know. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown, it's like, why not bet on him? That dude's doing his selling in the end zone was incredible. Who else tried it? Was it Drake London from Atlanta?
Did you see where that started from?
No.
Incarnate Word, which is like a D2 is school. This wide receiver just randomly did it.
I
And now
love
it's, like,
that.
taking
That's
over.
awesome. He got a flag. I love that. But we're struggling in the touchdown world. Now, something we're hopeful about. Christian McCaffrey will be active this week. 49ers. We'll have to put that one in. Obviously, you ride Derrick Henry.
Obviously, right there. Oh yeah, are you talking
We're
about
talking about our
the
parlay.
the
that
boys
just-
parlay?
we fucking suck.
That one was on me. That was on me this week. I picked DeAndre Swift.
We like the bet, bro. It's
We
a
liked
team
it,
effort.
yeah.
It's
It
a
felt
team
good
effort
when I
every
picked it.
Thursday. It's a team effort.
I know. I thought I snuck one in though because I saw him playing against the Commanders last week, and I was like, this dude is really the offense.
Right.
And the success comes with him. And I figured they'd get into the tight red zone and be able to put it in.
Yeah.
Just nothing.
Bears in trouble.
Bears are in trouble.
Yeah, I see Big Cat. He's having a tough time. They're ready to fire Eberflus. Something
It's
like
that time of the year, man. People are just all over the place, calling for people's heads left, right, and center.
Yeah.
It's a scary time. It's a scary time to be a head coach in the NFL with a losing record.
Who do you think comes out of the yeah, that's another thing that happened. NFC South shakeup. The Saints fired head coach Dennis Allen. They started off 0-2. They've lost 7 straight. Dennis Allen.
They're 2-0. They started off 2-0.
What did I say? 0-2?
They started off 2-0, outscoring their opponents. And I think they scored 90 points in their first 2 games.
Yeah.
Like we're just going off. Michael Thomas gets on Twitter. He's the one to start bad mouthing Derek Carr and stuff like that, throwing crazy shots. Did you see Derek Carr's press conference?
I thought he handled it as well as he could.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I'm not going to see it.
Yeah.
I usually ignore the good and the bad.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to focus on my job. Derek Carr, true pro. Gotta love that.
Derek Carr's also out there throwing hospital balls to Chris Olave.
Okay. That's what Michael Thomas said. And so.
Damn. You're just going to hit
that wasn't us. That was Mitch Carsley. The Mitch Carsley said that. Go and quote him.
I know.
I didn't see the throw.
My fantasy lineup too. Thought it was going to be bombs over Baghdad.
Olave is getting close to that Tua territory of like, should he play? Should he not play?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got hurt again.
Oh, I didn't
got hurt
see
again,
it.
He
man.
got stretchered off the field.
Yeah,
stretchered.
That's his second concussion
Been there.
this year.
Yeah, that shit sucks, man.
The South right now is going to come down to the Falcons and Bucks.
I think the Falcons.
I think the Falcons too. Yeah,
Yeah,
Bucks kind of they've had some bad
Godwin.
luck.
They lost a couple of guys, dude. But don't sleep on Baker Mayfield.
I know.
Just
I know. That's the
might
only thing I don't
will
want to
those
sleep on.
boys into it.
Like the Bucks could still make the playoffs. The NFC North is wide open. You got the Lions, Vikings, Packers. Now the Lions are just a different fucking team.
They handled business all day yesterday against the Packers.
I think it was Orlovsky. He tweeted out this morning that in the last however many games, they've put up 96 points, a plus north of 100 point differential. I mean, you got offensive linemen scoring touchdowns. They just absolutely destroy teams, man. Ran a game yesterday with the Packers, came down to the wire. Packers are a tough team, well-coached team. LaFleur's the
Shout
man.
out LaFleur.
Yeah. O'Connell with the Vikings. They're a well-coached football team. The North is going to be crazy. And that's going to be a crazy finish this year. Do you think they sneak in 3 teams? You got the NFC West is absolutely wide open. Everybody within a game. Cardinals sitting at the top 5-4 right now. Seattle's at the bottom 4-5. Niners are 4-4. Rams are 4-4. I mean, what sucked with the Rams is Puka throws a shot, throws a punch, and somebody gets kicked out of the game. I mean, the Rams are going to be a tough team. I don't know who comes out of the West because Kyler Murray's playing well.
He's playing well, but he worries you about the consistency.
No
You're
doubt.
just like wins Call of
Especially
Duty.
based on the history. Based on the history of the Cardinals. I think it's going to come down to either the Niners and Rams.
And then you see the Commanders at the NFC East.
I think the Commanders win the NFC East, bro. I think the Commanders win the NFC. I think
over the Eagles.
I think the Eagles have the roster. I think when it comes down to coaching, the Commanders got it, man. Saquon's a beast. He's changed the game. Like you look at Derrick Henry.
He's changed the game. He's going to change video games.
Yeah.
Next year they're going to have the backwards hurdle. Is that not the most insane thing we've ever seen in our lives? And it wasn't even the backwards hurdle. It was the juke followed by the spin, followed by the elongated leg to the turnaround. Yeah.
He's in an action
jogs
film.
off.
I mean, don't you think so?
He said, fuck it.
That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shit right
there. That is John Wick choreographed fight shit, dude. Like that, as if him and the DB planned that.
He's so high in the air.
Insane.
Bro, and that's
just had his rear view mirror go, oh, somebody's there, bink, just popped it on over. That is wild. That's football porn. You can go back and watch that video over and over again and just be like, yo, this is unreal.
But the Eagles got the roster. I just think coming down to situation, coaching, and everything else, I think the Commanders got the edge there.
Dan Quinn's a stud.
He is.
But, dude, I just...
Hype in the locker room, bro. Jaden Daniels was playing well. Obviously, Hurts, he's a stud. But
I
again,
just worry
you're
about...
going with head coach here, DQ, Sirianni. I'm going Dan Quinn.
Listen, you get to the end of November, and that's when that rookie wall really starts to hit. Guys are so used to playing that 3rd week, 4th week in November in college. Their first year in the league. More times than not, you see a drop-off. And that's why I give the edge to the Eagles right now. I just think the Eagles, they have the players, they have the talent. Yeah, maybe coaching's a little better, but when it comes to a guy who's really crushing it like Jaden Daniels, and you get to that December
You think he'll hit that rookie wall?
I think everyone does it to some extent.
I don't know,
And it's
man.
the way the records are shaking out right now, it's close. It's close. Personally, I would like to see the Commanders win the East because it's exciting. I want it for you. I want it for that team. I want it for Jaden Daniels. That's exciting to me. But you see the Eagles, man. The Eagles have so much talent, and they have they got guys like Lane Johnson. It's upsetting that Jason Kelce, he's over there spiking phones. He's not able to be in the locker room helping the boys out.
Bro.
But, bro, you want to unpack that for a second?
Yeah, we can.
Because
I'm with you,
had
but
a nice...
also A.J. Brown went down as well.
Yeah. What do you have?
Knee?
Oof.
Yeah, I think a knee.
But not like a serious.
Like a little meniscus deal. Like a small little meniscus.
But that's always tough for receivers.
A little grade 1 MCL, hopefully.
He was walking off and like finished the rest of the first half, and then they came out for the second half, and I think he tried to warm up and it was bothering him. So he went
Okay.
back.
All right. T's and P's to AJ Brown, friend of the show. Gotta
Yeah,
have it.
also too, like just a receiver having knee issues. It's like, yeah, I'm sure they're taking the right precautions and everything else, but
Sherm just popped it up. Commanders and Eagles haven't played yet. They still have to play twice. So that's going to be some fun football to watch.
yeah,
That's one to keep your eye on right there. I think you get December 22nd, though. It's just, I don't
Commanders
know,
clinch the
man.
division, throwback.
Wouldn't that be something?
2015. Commanders in Philly, Christmas game. It might have been Christmas Eve, but that's when the boy hit the dab. Sack Sam Bradford. We clinched the East. We clinched the East on that day.
I'll tell you what, this dude has selective CTE. You think of things. You can't think of the most basic shit sometimes, but you remember all of your highlights.
Yeah.
Selective.
Oh, but yeah, bro, the Jason Kelce slamming the phone down,
Yeah.
saying who's the I
Yeah.
wanna say
Dropping that
something.
F word
Who's
hard.
the F word now? Who's the F word now? Dude did give him a little nudge. He kind of dropped him for a second. He dropped
Bro,
him for
which
a
is
second.
crazy.
I know, but
You're gonna
Jason,
throw a shoulder to
Jason's
Jason
holding,
Kelce?
he's holding his beer. He's holding beer. He's holding the.
He bent down, but he does give him the thing. Some dude on Instagram was like, basically clipped the part where Jason Kelce just slams the phone down and calls him, who's the F word now?
Yeah.
And he's like, Jason Kelce should be in prison. Celebrities don't care about you. I don't even know who some dude it was like a sports thing on Instagram. And I commented on it. I was like, this is the most bitch made clickbait clip ever.
Yeah, yeah. Look, at the end of the day, dude was talking crazy noise about his brother, like right next to him. And I understand the whole, having composure and walking away. And this dude,
You are a person of status. You should keep yourself above
But he's
it.
talking shit about his brother. He wanted to stand on something. He's doing it with the phone, like running up, trying to like have a
Yeah.
clip. So he takes his phone and slams it down, and just fucking stomps it. I loved it. I loved it. And I'm dead ass serious. Like, you are a pussy. And you are, fuck all the legal bullshit that you can probably do, whatever it is. Like, you are a loser at life if you're that type of person.
Just running
If you
up
have
on
that type of
somebody.
character.
Because he probably sat with his friends, but man, if I see Jason Kelce today, I'm going to say X, Y, and Z. And he goes and does it. He thinks he's cool for a moment.
Yeah, you see him kind of maybe clench his fist.
Like,
a
what you
little
gonna
bit,
do? You
like,
gonna swing that
you're not
fist,
gonna do
brother?
shit.
No. Exploded.
Yeah.
And the thing is like that's the problem too, is like you never would you run up on a dude like Jason Kelce and say those types of words being built like that and think I'm just gonna get away with this.
Because I saw somebody, they're like, all it's going to take is some average Joe at some point in time to beat the shit out of an athlete, and then that stuff will stop. It's like, I get what you're saying,
Yeah.
but I'm telling you right now, those alpha type average Joes that are out there, they're not walking up and running up on you, trying to clip you with a phone, trying to say this malicious stuff to your face. Like, they know who they are. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Because, yeah, that's true. It's like, yeah, I'm sure that'll happen at some point in time. But it's just running up, saying what you're saying about Jason's brother. Like, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
You're a loser.
And I thought it was a well orchestrated tweet.
Yeah. That point in time, you just... there's certain things you stand on, and Jason, obviously, it touched him with him talking about his brother.
Which
and
is
I'm
wild,
with it.
man.
I do. I get what you're saying. Yeah, I do. I get what you're saying, because you would like to have the composure to just not hear it, because you're going to a game, like, just fucking forget about it. But he wanted to make that reaction, and I'm pro Jason Kelce. Like, I'm siding with the boy.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're all on Jason Kelce's side. Anybody not on Jason Kelce's side, Mitch?
Mitch. Mitch.
Why would I not be?
I don't know.
Because you always talking about how can I get up on somebody and get a little lawsuit going and make some extra cash. You always talking about that type of shit.
Extra cash.
I have had those words have come out of my mouth.
He's never said anything.
This one.
No, but that was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, the dude's a bitch for that, man. That is a bitch made move.
I had a couple other things. The East, the Bills, I was kind of running through divisions. Who we think's going to win these divisions? The NFC West, we already talked about that.
Yep.
The AFC West, obviously, you got the Chiefs. The only ones who can make it interesting is probably the Chargers. But they're a few games back right now. I do think the Chiefs are going to drop a couple.
A few
before
games
the
back,
season
Myles
ends.
Garrett went crazy. See 3 sacks in the first half?
Yeah.
My God.
Then you got the East, the Bills. I mean, the rest of the East is absolutely dead. Look at the East here. You got the Jets, who are second division, 3-6.
Bills
I
are
mean, they
running
obviously
away.
have to win out. Bills are running away with that. You got the North, Steelers, Ravens. Steelers could get the division, man. Russie's been spicy. You got Arthur Smith calling the offense, obviously, and then you got just an absolutely dominating defense, which is where like the Ravens, as great of an offense as they have the same weapons on defense like the Steelers do. And then do the Bengals make it interesting? It'll be.
Do we think the Colts are able to catch the Texans at all? I don't.
I think they could, but they have.
I mean, Diggs, ACL, Collins, he's out too. A lot of weapons done. Yeah, Joe Mixon and Tank Dell essentially.
Yeah, and they got similar schedules on the back half. I'm drawing a blank. Click on the Colts. Click on their schedule. Yeah, I want to say both the Colts and the Texans have the Lions still. I want to say the Texans might have the Chiefs as well. But yeah, it's gonna be fun, man. Football season. This is where it all starts to matter. November, December.
Yes.
Getting into the
This is where those team meetings are happening right now.
Yeah.
Boys, we got to get after it.
Sucks that we're halfway already.
It kind of does.
Oh, Mitch, I know. You love ball.
I mean, I love ball.
But this is the best part of the year.
Oh, no doubt. But it's just like, fuck. We're a couple more months. We're not going to have this.
Yeah, I know, buddy. I know.
Mike Sullivan would always say, hey, you're going to blink. It's going to be Thanksgiving. And here we are. It's almost here.
Yeah. Titans, hey, nice win. Nice
Solid
OT
win.
win. Nice OT
Strong
win against
win.
the Patriots.
The question everybody's asking right now is, can they run the table?
Are they?
Can they get back on track?
Who's asking that
Can they get back on track? I will say I was leaving the Titans game yesterday. Some guy came up to me and introduced himself. He was standing in line for the churros. He goes, I want to introduce myself. I'm Will Levis's dad. I said, oh, great to meet you. He goes, we're going to have a great back half of the season.
Yeah?
Said it to my face. Feel good about it. Love it.
Yeah. I'm curious what's going to happen when Levis gets back in the fold. Because he's done enough.
He's done a lot.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Calvin Ridley's getting his touches a lot more.
He had that one deep ball
I
dropped.
know,
though.
bro.
It
You
sucks.
see, he's like,
I know you. Hey,
immediately.
you love that.
Yeah.
You love that. Sometimes
He
it only
did,
takes
bro.
it takes win. It takes one, dude. Just you get one win, all of a sudden, all that anger in the locker room, that cancerous cell that keeps growing, everyone keeps bitching about.
Yeah.
And say, hey, we got one.
Just go
Let's
one
just
game
keep
at a
stacking
time.
days.
Throw that pick on the 3-yard line in the end.
Yeah.
Nuts.
I know that tipped
He took
one.
the ball away.
Yeah. Then gave
The
it
ball
right
a little
back.
high. He didn't want it necessarily. You knew he was about to get smacked. He kind of had the T-Rex arms.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, Pollard was running nice yesterday, dude. It was a good looking.
Big one. We were there.
Corey got in.
We were there. Boys getting
Corey
away.
went in. Yeah. What happened to Cushionberry? Is that his name? Cushionberry?
Yeah, Christian Barry.
What injury did he sustain for Corey to get in?
I don't know what it is, but
Lower body.
yeah,
Lower
this
body?
morning on the radio, they were like, it's gonna be a tough loss.
Okay, so they're saying he got hurt pretty bad. I'll have to look more into that. I will say this, all Titans fans listening, the Biscuit, Corey Levin, underrated ball player. Underrated ball
yeah.
player. Now, Corey, I will say this. You know what? I'm not gonna say that. Corey is he's a great run blocker. That boy knows ball. He knows where to put the offensive line. Now they had a snap fumble.
He's
That-
a coach out there.
That was
He's a
not
coach
that
out
was
there.
not Corey's fault. And the replay, they did a great job. They did a great angle. It hit Mason Rudolph right in the hands. Hit him right in the hands. I feel good about Levin. I feel good about Levin at center, dude. I'm just telling you.
Being the X
Am I
factor.
biased? Yes. Absolutely. I love this kid, and I want him to do well. I did make him. That's what I was going to talk about, is how much I've made Corey Levin. Without me, Corey Levin's not in the league anymore. I will say that. Dude, Gibbons, too. Jack Gibbons, Dr. Gibbons.
Yeah, I love
Had
watching
a
Gibby
fucking
play.
game
love
out there.
watching Gibby play, man.
Just a Will Compton out there, dude. Just having a day.
Yeah, I love watching him play.
You made him.
no.
Without you, guys like Jack Gibbons wouldn't have the confidence to keep pushing forward.
No. Guys like
Undrafted cat out of Minnesota.
guys like us, we make ourselves. Guys like us,
Hell
we make
yeah.
ourselves.
Not Corey, though.
he's
Not Corey. I made you,
Gibby's
Corey.
got all the, yeah. I love seeing Gibby play. He plays his balls off, man. You can tell he has command of the defense. He knows what's going on. He fucking plays with his hair on fire.
Yes.
Flies around, bro.
He's
Got
like
some swag to him. I love it.
He's a
I love
more
it.
quiet Robert Spillane.
Yeah. Bobby Spillane.
I love ball.
I love football.
I love football. Titans might do it, man. They might fucking turn it around.
Jack, I heard you weren't there.
Jack
for the
missed
OT
the second
win.
half of the football game.
Yeah, you weren't either.
You're right. I left to go see my family.
I had to go move my house. We had to get out by last night. It was nice to see the OT win on the phone, but yeah.
The reason I was so fired up about the OT win. Obviously, I love seeing the Titans win, but your boy had the under 38 that game.
That's big.
Had the under 38. Seeing us win 20-17. I was like, God, there we go. I love the field goal. Now let's just make a play. And
Yeah.
Amani Hooker, 2 picks.
Huge. And is the curse broken? Right? Tennessee won.
2 Tennessee
Both
football
Tennessee teams
the same
won.
weekend.
Yeah, I think we can put that to bed now.
On Jack's. Let's
Yeah.
fucking go.
Sometimes I feel like it's always November when both Tennessee teams catch a double dub. So
Yeah.
there's always an exception once, but maybe next weekend too. Titans got who is it? Chargers. And then Tennessee's got Mississippi State. So if Titans can go road win, who knows?
Go
Maybe
road
back
win,
to
man.
back.
Could run it,
So
dude.
we're back in
Shout out the Titans organization. They hosted the boys. We were there this weekend.
Big time.
Everybody had a lot of fun.
A lot of love out there.
Shout
at
out
Nissan
Nate
Stadium.
Bain, Bill Puffer.
Yes. Bill Puffer?
Is it?
Jared Puffer.
Jared Puffer. Sorry, that's what he.
That's his brother, Bill.
His brother's Bill. Yeah, his brother's
Gotcha.
Bill.
I'm thinking Bill Martin.
Yeah. All good.
From the vault.
All good. But yeah, Titans, massive
Jared
love.
Puff. Little Puff
Massive
Daddy.
love. We gotta figure out a way to pack that stand. We gotta figure out a way to get more Titans fans in Nissan Stadium, because if you're looking at your phone at all during the game, you're gonna hear a cheer. You don't know what happened one way or the other, because they had lots of Patriots fans in there.
I know.
A lot of Patriot fans. So we'll see, man.
That's kind of the theme, though. But either way, you want to get to a game this weekend, next weekend, doesn't matter. Football season is here. We can't wait to get out to some games this fall with the help of Game Time. Matter of fact, they are the official ticketing partner of Barstool Sports. Game Time, we couldn't get everybody. We had about 16 people at the game yesterday. Got 8 of us on the in the suite with the sideline. The other 8, we bought them on the 50-yard line. Bought it day of with the Game Time app. You guys were on like the 50-yard line, yeah? Yeah. But again, we were looking at tickets. We used the Game Time app to buy for the Titans Patriot game. Just pull up your chosen event and turn on the GT pick setting at the top of the screen, or browse the best local Game Time picks deals near you on your Game Time app homepage. What are you waiting for? I'm going to buy those Titans tickets this weekend, whether they are at the Chargers, whether
Will's
they're at
flying to LA.
Yeah,
with the Game Time app.
Flying to LA.
Yeah.
But anyway, use the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app today. Use code Bussin to easily score great deals with the new Game Time picks. What time is it?
Game time!
Yeah.
Predators game tonight. Gonna hit that Predators game tonight. Go watch them play the Kings, baby.
Are you gonna chug the beer?
I don't know. I kind of want to just keep it low. Keep it low this time.
Until they hand you
if they ask, I will do it. It's kind of like what Bert said. You know?
That's what I'm saying. If you don't want to, you got to set the expectation now.
I know. I should text and be like, but we got the Lexus Lounge. Talen's mother's there. Talen's grandfather's going. Obviously, they're Canadian, so they're obsessed with hockey. Just a good time. When we were walking around this weekend, a couple people said, "Oh, I remember you from the Jumbotron." So Wynn's got herself a little reputation when she walks into Bridgestone Arena. We'll see, man. We will see.
That means it's happening.
That my most proud moment as a father right there. God, that was so amazing. The smile on that little girl's face was all fucking time. So yeah, we're going to go today. First one of the season.
Shall we jump into the episode, jump into the interview?
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy it.
Big hugs. Hey, big hugs, Tiny Kids. So you're watching right now. Make sure you're subscribed, support the boys, help the boys out. Leave comments along the episode. We've had a hell of a run this year so far. Fall tour is officially done. We wrapped it up this weekend. Last weekend, the last college stop was Tennessee. We were at the Patriot Titans game this weekend. The boys are done. I will be in the trenches starting next week. Baby number 2 comes. Little girl, hope everything goes well. But that begins. But now, fall tour is done. We had a hell of a run. And enjoy this episode, boys. Yeah, shout out Shawne Merriman. Pray for a fight. Love you. Big hugs, Tiny Kids.
Chasing Michael Vick, fresh out of jail.
Fresh
out of jail, bro.
They get
I was
faster.
like, what field do they got that's longer than 40 yards? Why are you still fast?
Yeah,
There's nowhere to
He
run
said
in there.
fresh out of jail. Motivated.
Some cats come out of prison. Mike Tyson, when he came out of prison, he was just meaner and bigger and buffer than he's ever been in his time. Are we rolling?
Until he saw Holyfield.
Oh, we are rolling. Hey, let's give a round of applause. Shawne Merriman joining us on the bus. Just landed in Nashville, Tennessee. Just came to hang out with the boys. We appreciate you stopping by, man.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you not. First off, I want to give you a shout out for the coolest nickname of all time. High school, the nickname Lights Out.
Yeah.
So when I was Googling, just doing a little bit of research on you, you put
Time out. Before you get into that story, I gotta ask.
Okay.
Do you remember responding to me on a Vernon Davis Instagram post? It was probably 2015.
Is this when he got kicked off the field with Singletary?
No, this is when he was on Washington.
Oh, okay.
And he was doing like a
yes.
sponsor post.
Yeah,
he had his
yeah.
shirt off and he was like dipping in some supplements and I was getting on just busting his balls.
Right.
And Shawne was like defending Vernon against me. Like
about to beat your ass.
Yeah.
Over
I remember texting
internet.
Vernon like, hey, Shawne knows that we're just busting balls. Right?
We're just having a good time,
We're
right?
just having a good time,
No,
right?
so just backstory, like Vernon's like my little brother.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Vernon's like 15 years old. I didn't know the relationship then. You know, so I didn't.
You
So
just
that's on me.
you see a mouthy white guy and you're like, oh, I gotta put this dude in
I
his
didn't
place.
know. I mean,
When he was coming on, I was trying to scroll and see, but he doesn't have posts like beyond like 2019. But it was back when we was on the same team, and I remember when Shawne had responded to me. I'm just thinking, I texted Vernon, I'm like, hey Vernon, you know, let Shawne know we're all good.
What Vernon said to you?
I can't. Oh, he was laughing. He's like, oh, Shawne's a good dude. He's a good dude. You know, Vernon, the nicest human being in the world.
He is.
But I had to ask.
Dude, are you kidding me? What?
You like
That's hilarious.
Sherman in the back. Man, you missed that facial hair?
With that
little flavor saver trail down, trail down the chin.
That landing strip down there.
That thing is wild.
Yeah, I got a fresh Juan right there. Juan Diaz.
That was your icebreaker at the bar right there.
sure.
That little thing hanging down off the lip.
For sure. I got the LRG. Remember, the LRG was hot at that time too. Everybody had fucking LRG.
God, that is so funny. But yeah, we as I was saying before, Will went down memory lane with you for a second. High school.
Yeah.
Put 4 players unconscious in the first half of a high school football game.
Yeah.
What
That's
the
real?
fuck, man?
Yeah. So what happened? So what happened was it was a school that was like talking a lot. They were talking a lot of shit like leading up to the game. And my coaches, when I was then, they would egg me on by every clippings that come out, everything in the local newspaper. They would Washington Post come out. They would send me everything, gassing me up. So I can't wait to get to this game now. And so I just started like striking people, right? And I remember like parents were coming on the field, like standing in the end zone, grabbing the refs, grabbing the commissioner, basically saying that the coaches were held to be back for 2 years. Like I was like 2 or 3 years older than.
Oh, they thought you were like
not knowing I was
registered to vote.
Yeah, ready to go.
Yeah,
and not knowing that that I was the youngest. You know, so like even when I got drafted, I was 20 years old when I got drafted.
I thought it was like a Bishop Sycamore situation.
Yeah.
It's grown ass man.
Right.
Hey, that's a good pull.
And so that happened after the game. About 20 or 25 students come running to me and they said, "You knocked those kids' lights out." And I just, kind of played it off cool. I didn't think it was going to happen. I said, "Yeah, you know what? Call me lights out." And I got to school on Monday and I got my backpack on and I got my books in my hand. They was like, "Yo, good game, lights." And I was like, "Shit." It's kind of caught on already. And people, heard about it. And so I went home. I rushed home to my mom. My mom smoked a ton of cigarettes. So I got in the room and I'm waving the smoke. I can't even see my mom and shit. She's in there smoking cigarettes all day.
Hell yeah.
And I said, "Mom, look, this, people calling me lights out. I want to get this lights out tattoo on my right forearm." And she looked at me and smoked a cigarette one more time and said, "Boy, get the hell out the room." Right? That was it.
Yeah. How old were you?
16.
16 years old.
Yeah. And I came back every single day for 2 weeks. And finally, she took me to go get this light switch with a hand cutting the lights out on my right forearm. And that became a thing. And so my freshman year at the University of Maryland, we were playing Georgia Tech. Actually, this hit is on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
And it was my first time playing on ESPN. It was a Friday night or Saturday night game on ESPN. I wasn't starting, but they put me in the game. And I'm dropping back in the flats. The wide receiver Watkins come running across the field, dragging across the field, and I just, and then that was the first time I got up and pointed at it. Like, there it is, right there. Yep, that was the first time.
Bring that back.
Wow. So
God,
I'm 17. I think I'm 17 at the time. I don't think I was 18 yet. And they put me in a game, and so none of my teammates at the time, they thought I came in with cocky, all this lights out kid. We not calling you lights out.
That's what I wanted to ask. Like, how was the lights out nickname playing when you first got there?
Because that is the perfect like tattoo to chirp as a freshman getting into college. All the seniors be like, yeah, you like that?
Dude, and I was so cocky too. Like I came in there like talking shit. I was like that black sheep, like, yo, this dude don't fucking belong. He doesn't belong in here.
There's a couple of seniors getting in the corner and be like, we got to humble this dude first day of practice.
Coach is like, hey, this guy's a psycho.
Yeah,
we had I don't know if you guys remember EJ Henderson. Remember EJ?
Yeah.
EJ Henderson, buckets, one of the to me the best linebacker to come out of Maryland ever, and he would always just call me freshman, or he would like call me something else, and nobody would call me anything until that hit. And so I finally came on the sideline, and I got EJ and those guys came up to me, Denard Wilson, this defensive coordinator here.
Yeah,
he was my team. So none of them would call me lights out at all until that hit.
And that so was the first. That was the first game.
That was the first time I got in the game, like on the national level.
Bro, that cowboy collar is crazy.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, that was it.
That is fucking wild, man. So why Maryland?
Because for me, like I grew up in Prince George's County, and at the time, like PG County, DC was bad, dude. Like top 5, top 10 murder capital of the country.
Really?
Yeah, and so so I wanted to, I had offers from everywhere, and I committed as a junior to Maryland. But from where we came from, nobody stayed home. Like everybody went to Penn State, Florida State at the time, because Florida State was big. Ohio, they went to everywhere else. All the top players went everywhere else. Nobody stayed home. So I was like, man, you know what? I'm gonna stay home. And I was the first one that kind of could have went to a Florida State or could have went to a Florida or something like that and stay home. And then after me, Vernon. We was talking about Vernon.
Right.
Vernon stayed, and a lot of guys like Torrey, a lot of we started having first round draft picks every year after that. But at the time, I think I might have been the highest drafted player from Maryland. But dude, it was hard. I didn't take any visits, and Miami was coming to the game, my basketball, games. And I was playing hooping in the offseason with some of the Maryland basketball players. They would be walking around like off campus. They were trying to get me to Miami. So if I would have took my visit, it would have been to Miami. I would have gone to.
Yeah, and if you showed up in Miami, you probably would have committed on the spot.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Dude, they took me to a strip club or some shit out there, and I would have been.
They do strip clubs like malls out there. They have like 3 stories. It's crazy. They have a buffet, a whole type of convenience store.
You were good at basketball and track too, right?
Yeah, basketball for sure. We so I grew up on the AAU team. So the same AAU team, it was like me, Michael Beasley, KD. Nolan Smith wound up going to Duke, and he played, I think, for the played in the NBA for like 6-7 years. So it was like 10 of us that went all through like the same AAU team. And then the problem was I start growing here, getting wider, and then everybody else like Beasley and all these other guys, they just kept, going that way. But yeah, Beasley, we practically grew up in the same neighborhood, in the same house. Like Beasley at 10, 19 years old was at my house when we were growing up. Yeah.
Damn.
All of us.
Was there anything like, was it family ties and stuff that kept you in Maryland? Why you didn't want to visit any of these other prestigious D1 programs? Yeah, they did, because I think for me, my coaches took care of me in high school. So we were homeless. We lost our house to fires because my mom couldn't pay the bills, and so she lit candles because we couldn't afford the lights. The lights got cut off and gas got cut off. And one of the candles had burned through, and we burned the whole house down. And so I ended up moving with my coaches. And so I was like, man, my coaches took me in. They didn't have to do that. They didn't have to take me in. So I'm not going to say I felt obligated, but also at the same time, I'm like, everybody want to see me play.
Yeah.
And not have to fly out or go anywhere. So it was a lot of decisions, man. And then too, they just came off of, I think the Gator Bowl. They played Florida in the Gator Bowl, like 2000, something like that.
Yeah.
And then I played in 2 Gator and in Peach Bowl.
When you talk about being homeless, you losing your house, all that, and then, having the success you did in the NFL and having this entrepreneurial spirit you had, where did that come from? Because obviously, given the circumstances you just laid out for everybody, it would be easy to fold and go into this life that, you still probably see a lot of people around you going into. What was different for you? It
was difficult, man, because, like when I was growing up, you start seeing like all the dealers and stuff drive up and they got Benzes and, but I'll say this though, a lot of like other drug dealers and stuff where we grew up at, they never let me stay around. So like if something was ever going down or something was around, they'll tell me to leave the basketball court, get out of here, stay away. So it was actually the opposite of everybody like, oh, come in here, do this bad stuff. They're like, man, get out of here, because they knew I had potential to go play on that level.
Yeah,
that I was a good kid, and I was like really into sports. And so, believe it or not, man, they were just like, yeah, take your little ass out of here.
They would essentially tell you, hey, something's about to go down. You have to get out of here.
Oh, yeah.
No way. Leonard Fournette, I think he told a similar story growing up, because he was so talented in high school and all that. They were like, anytime any of that stuff was going to go down, they're like, hey, you got to get out of here. That's kind of a nice little deal.
When did you know you were going to be a guy in the NFL, like while you were playing in college?
Well,
probably knocked 4 people unconscious in one high school.
For sure.
So after that game that I had my sophomore year was my first big interview with ESPN, because I was like ranked in the country now coming out in high school. I got no media training. Like where I come from, no one ever put a camera in our face to tell us what to say. So at that point, I'm speaking from the heart, right? So the reporter come up. Remember they had the old school tape recorders?
Yeah.
They press the tape recorder and they let you talk. So we pressed the tape recorder. He got his notepad right here, and the ESPN guy said, you play the game hard. You got a lot of passion out there. Like, what made you get into? Why do you play like this? What made you get into football? I said, sir, I can do anything I want to anybody and not go to jail. So
hey, could you just being like a 6 foot, 200-pound offensive lineman reading that news article,
dude,
playing him next week?
He pressed the stop button and just looked at me for like 30 seconds like, dude, you're going to jail. Like, you're 100% you're getting in trouble. But I think for me, honestly, the truth is, now I look back on it and understand why I said it, and why it came up is because it literally, those 2 hours of practice or games, it was my way of getting away to everything I was dealing with.
Yeah.
Right. So I get 2 hours to go out there and like unleash on anybody. Right. And so that's what I meant. I could have framed that, a lot better. But at the time, I said that because that's what I believed in. I was like, man, I get this chance to go out there and like do what I love to do and like not get in trouble for it. Right. And so it just came across wrong. But the truth is, that's why I started playing.
When you're in college and obviously you're close to home, what are the things you're dealing with outside of having those 2 hours or having that escape of football? Yeah,
I think the biggest thing for me, man, is that those 2 hours, I forgot about everything. As soon as I walked off the field, I knew I was going to come home to an eviction notice. We're going to come home, maybe the lights were going to be out. We didn't have food. But those 2 hours, I didn't think about it at all. And then so one day my high school coach had noticed that I was losing some weight. And because we didn't have food.
Right.
And so he then he started kind of stepping in, and my dad wasn't around. Me and my dad got a pretty good relationship now, but he wasn't around at the time. And so he started to, take care of a few things, make sure we had food, and got me a computer so I can start doing my homework and stuff like that. So at that time, it was my first time talking about like how I was living. Matter of fact, so Mike Loxley, who's the head coach now at Maryland, he was a running back coach at Maryland at the time. He recruited me. And
he's the head coach now.
He's the head coach now at Maryland. We were in such bad conditions when I committed to Maryland. Ralph Friedgen and Loxley was going to come to my place, but we stayed. It was so bad that I didn't want them to see where I lived.
Yeah.
So I committed to them, and they never took a home visit or anything like that. I would always tell them that I'll come to the school because I didn't want them to see where and how I was living.
Yeah.
And so he didn't even really know until later on that we were living in those conditions, because I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed to let people know that we were living like that,
right?
You know, and so looking back on it now, it in a weird way, you like thankful for it. You know what I mean? Like thankful for it a little
absolutely.
bit, because it gave me another layer of skin that most people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you talk about the stuff I got going now, like it was like a preparation for all the stuff that I'm doing now.
Yeah. And I'm sure you don't do this a whole lot, because anybody who has an entrepreneurial spirit usually just looks on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But if you ever do have an opportunity, you're sitting in your house, in your living room, and it's nighttime, and you just think to yourself, wow, look what I've made versus what I've come from. It just adds so much to your story and how cool of a story it is.
I used to, because I always hated the rags to riches. I'm like, dude, you're right. That's exactly how I looked at it.
Yeah.
Because it was always like the next thing. And I get up the next day, it's the next thing. And then you do get those subtle moments, especially when you come and somebody from your past, like an old friend, or somebody who knew you back then, and they see your house now, right? They see how you're living and see, you know, that you got all these amazing things going on from in the media, that you get that real quick reminder of what you have gone through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of seeing old people, how did your relationships change as you started to find success and money with these guys? Like you get drafted, right? First round, people want to come see you in San Diego at the time where the Chargers were playing.
Yeah.
Like, how did you navigate those hands out
And
being like, hey, you got to help us out. You know how we helped you.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of those guys that said, hey, leave the basketball court. They want to put their hand out and say, hey, we helped you with all this.
It's tough, especially when you come from where we came from, because there's a certain level of like, you owe me, right? Either for being a friend or somebody that might have loaned you a coat or something at that time. Now they want a car. You're like, hold on, man, you let me use a coat for 2 weeks.
Right.
Now you want a car. I mean, what is, you know?
Yeah, that's a weird trade. That's a weird trade.
But believe it or not, man, it happens more when you come from that area, those type of areas, it happens a lot. And so what I did do was I took care of my high school. You know, I donated probably like $350,000 in my high school, built them a new gym. They got new fields and stuff like that. I did all that. So everybody that kind of took care of me, like my coaches, you know, help them get a new house, you know. So everybody who took care of me at that time, I took care of everybody else immediately. That was the first thing. You know, I bought my house, bought my car, but the first thing I did was everybody who took care of me and helped me get there when I didn't have shit, I was like, I'm taking care of them first.
Yeah.
What about the people trying to come back into the fold where it's like you obviously have certain boundaries with people, but people that are beyond that boundary who are trying to get in the mix as well?
Yeah, I was, you know who I thought was going to be the first one, because I told you my dad wasn't around. I thought my dad was going to be the first one to pop up.
Yeah.
You know, and he didn't.
I was thinking about when you were like, I didn't necessarily have a good relationship with him. You have a good relationship with him. Yeah. Now I'm curious at how that started to come about.
So I talked to my dad one time on the phone. So I didn't see my dad from the ages of 10 or 11 till the first time I talked to him on the phone when I was 18. And I didn't see him in person until I was 26 or 27. So I didn't see my dad in person from the ages of 10 to 27. I reached out to him. There you go. I reached out to him my freshman year at the University of Maryland because I had questions. I just like, you know, like you wanted personality traits. Do you like this? And you know, one of the first things we talked about is like he's always slept with the TV on. And I was like, damn, I can't sleep with the TV off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, you know, little things like that. And so anyway, we talked for 4 hours. On like 3 or 4 hours on the phone, and he said, look, I'm not gonna be that way. I wasn't around. This is my address, this is my number. Reach out and call me whenever you want. But I'm not gonna be that guy.
Yeah.
You know? So I respected that. And so I didn't see him to my final game in Buffalo. This is one of the reasons, I'm first time I'm even talking about this, one of the reasons why I retired. And Buffalo actually offered me to come back for 2 years. Doug Whaley did. And I was like, I'm done. When I knew I was going to retire, my dad, I called him and I said, hey, he never seen a game. He's never came to a game before. So he drove from Atlanta to Buffalo. And it was my first time seeing him. I was staying downtown Buffalo. His wife came up the elevator, walked around. I seen her first. And my dad was walking like super slow around the corner. And he was just like bawling because last time I seen him when I was 10 years old. And so anyway, you know, we came up and, you know, we hugged and we talked and stuff a little bit. And he had a jacket on. And so he had like 3 of the same tattoos in the same areas, just different. Like I got a money thing here. He had the same one, but it was smaller.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. We had 3 of the same tattoos in the same area. Dude, and I've never seen him since I was 10 years old. So it was the freakiest thing. And then after we started to talk a little bit more, you can never repair it fully, right? You can't really make up that time. But now we got a pretty good relationship. Yeah.
And that was the last football game you ever played?
Yeah. And I retired right after.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? And so what was the reason why you didn't want to go 2 more years?
Well, I tore my Achilles. And so I could still play, dude. When you tear the Achilles, you lose your you can't push off like you wants to.
Right.
And
ankle mobility, the knee starts hurting, hip starts hurting, everything's
compensation,
connected.
It was all of it.
Yeah.
And you know, I wasn't the same anymore. And I couldn't, for me, I was so damn competitive. I couldn't take being average and, you know, going out there. Even if Buffalo was going to pay me, I just couldn't take, because and they knew it. Like Buddy Nick's like, yo, you're not what you was, but we need you in the locker room. Like, it's a locker room guy. I said, dude, I can't watch that shit on film. I said, I can't put that out there.
Talk to me about that feeling though when you turn on the film and you think to yourself, man, that angle I used to take, I could get that guy or I could cover that guy like that, and then all of a sudden you're watching, you're like, bro, it's just not there anymore. What is that feeling like, and when did you like notice it?
I think for us athletes, we're the last ones that always know we need to retire. Like everybody else, like everybody said, like, dude, like, come on.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel, when he had to retire, he literally came home and his wife was like, hey, you see this? Like, you got to be done.
Yeah.
He's like, oh shit, are you serious? So you're right, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's how it was. And we had a rookie that came in. We were in training camp, and the rookie, I'll never forget, he played linebacker. He was like, you know, 3 or 4 behind me. He was trying to make the team as a special teams guy. And he said, in the middle of training camp, he said, man, I got to tell you, man, you know, you're one of my favorite players in like high school. And I was thinking, shit, 1, 2, 3. And I was doing the math.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, like, man, it's about that time.
Yeah.
You know, it's about that time. And so I ended up retiring after that year.
Coming into the league, being a first rounder, talk about your time, like when you first burst on the scene.
You know, what's crazy is that, you know, we was talking about Vernon. Like, me and Vernon had some epic battles in practice. We had a fence outside, and the students used to go up to the fence and like cut holes in the thing just to watch me and Vernon go and do one-on-ones. It was a line. Every day we did one-on-ones outside of practice to watch me and Vernon like go at it. Yeah. And so I felt like, you know, going against Vernon every day, and then Vernon was just he was strong, dude. Like, just Vernon's like the most physical, freakish player that I ever played. Him and Antonio Cromartie, the two freakish players I played with. And so when I got there, I'm thinking like, okay, I seen Vernon. Then you got Antonio Gates, you know, sitting right in front of you in practice. I'm like, God damn, you know. And so I walked in. I was late. I was late to camp because I had an injury clause. And so I'm seeing everybody talk, including Phillip. They're talking shit about me in the media. They're like, he should be here. Who does he think he is? It was like,
and this your rookie year, first.
This is my
camp?
rookie year, and I didn't go to any mini camp. I showed up 2 weeks before the first game.
This is old CBA.
Yeah, this is old CBA.
Yeah.
This was before this whole CBA thing changed, and you know, the injury clause in my contract that I didn't want to go out there and do anything, because if I got hurt, then they didn't have to pay technically because of the contract. And it was more of like a good faith thing, and I was like, no, that's not.
Yeah,
good on you to know that. That's how it worked a little bit.
Yeah, and so we got the contract situated. I got there, and it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks before the first game, not preseason game. But I remember everybody talking shit in the pit, like Phillip and everybody he should be here. And I said, dude, what? This first day I get up there, somebody getting their ass handed to them. First day, whoever it is. And so we got the first day I got there was pads. We had our first padded practice. We had almost 4,000 or 5,000 fans in practice. And everything I did, the crap, I was going over the bags, and just, you'd have thought I scored every time I did something, right? Fans just going crazy because that was the first time they saw me out there. We go to one-on-one pass rushing drills with the running backs and fullbacks.
Which is the most unfair drill for running backs of all time. It's got to be what you dread the fucking most.
An inside guy.
Yeah.
Unless you got Lorenzo Neal there, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't give a damn who was in front of me. Somebody was going to get it, because I had this pent up anger, because I'm sitting at home and back in Maryland, and I'm seeing all these like, he should be here and all this other shit. And so we go out there. And my first 1-on-1 is against Lorenzo Neal, and I went and boom, blew him up. Low Neal. He falls over. I'm stepping over. I'm crowd hyping it up, just throwing gas from the fire, and it was the worst mistake I ever made. Ever.
Why?
Lorenzo Neal. Bro, listen.
You're going into that rep thinking there's no fair dodge. I'm not making a move. I'm running straight through this.
There was no half man, nothing. I went straight down the middle, blew him up. And I mean, the crowd's going crazy. I go back around, and I'm in the front line about to go again. There's somebody else up there. Lorenzo Neal grabbed him, picked him up, and then pushed him out the way so he can go again. And at that moment, I said, oh, shit. I said something.
Something doesn't feel right here.
Some
At Maryland and in high school, people would have been like, "Yeah, you go ahead and take him." Not this time.
So I went up again, and I tried to pull the same mess I did the first time. No shake, half man. I was right down the middle. And when I did that, Neal stood me straight up in the air. And I felt like my blood rushed to my finger. You know that tingle in your arms?
Yeah.
That I had nothing. My fingers sting both arms. I never had, typically you would get a stinger in one shoulder, one arm. Both arms were just numb. And felt like my blood had left my back of my body and went all the way to the front of my face, dude. My face was burning, itching. And I was like, oh my God. And so after that, me and Neal came up with this thing that we had a brother-in-law.
Right, the brother.
The brother-in-law.
Because like, hey, no
sacred brother-in-law.
Bullshit.
Yeah, because we realized that if we kept doing that, somebody wasn't gonna make it to the game. Mm-hmm. We knew we had it like, so we had that was the last time I ever tested Neal. It was the worst mistake that I ever did in my life. Still to this day, dude, that's the worst.
But maybe the sacrifice for the best kind of business move, because now you're not having to.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. So that's a vet move, right?
Yeah,
so
it's a vet move.
It was a vet move. And so I think that when we did that, every time that they ran a power or something like that, we just got within a feet of each other and just let up. I got my spot, he got his spot.
Yeah.
We're good. Coaches said nothing to us after that at all, because they knew if we kept banging like we were, somebody wasn't going to make it to the game. Right. And Neal is the realest you ever want to deal with. But I think at that time, and then I didn't know this till years later, Antonio Gates said that the tight ends were watching that in the meeting room. It was like, shit, I ain't blocking his ass.
Hey, as a rookie too.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. Did he say anything to you after that rep?
No, but I started to work out with Neal every day after practice. Neal was 12 years in at this time. I'm a rookie, dude, and I couldn't keep up. Mm-hmm. Like Neal was just on a different planet. And so I just got with him, and I started training with him every 3-4 days a week after practice. We would go hit it.
Yeah. He was the hardest worker on that team?
100%. Yeah. No doubt.
Man.
You guys had some fucking squads, bro. It was always surprising that you guys just didn't get over that hump, man.
Yeah. You know what kind of because we all put these emphasis on championships, right? Mm-hmm. And but I will say this, and I know the Patriots, won rings and stuff during that time. I think in that mid 2000s, we were the best team that never won a championship. Yeah. And within that, 2005 to 2010 range, we were so dominant. I mean, hell, man, our practices some days were harder because we had Marty Schottenheimer. Mm-hmm. Dude, and Marty was a type that you love him to death, but Marty was a hard ass. He had his times where in training camp, he'll just go and tap you and just have you doing Oklahoma drills with the lineman or running back, before practice. This is the pros.
Yeah, the pre-practice.
You're not even fully warmed up. Bro. He's tapping on the shoulder.
Once you go through the warm-ups, no drills, no. It was like, soon as you warm up, we went over to the other field. There's Oklahoma drills.
Call the boys up. Hey, here's what we got here, and these calls out 2 numbers.
That's it.
Going at it.
And you got a defensive lineman, an offensive lineman, or linebacker and a fullback, and it just smack dead that.
Dude, is that not the ultimate judgment? Like when the coach calls it up, it's like, all right, we got 5-1 and 7-7 going out of here in the Oklahoma drill. And you're just like, hi. Either you're thinking to yourself, bro, like this dude's a beast, or you're thinking like, if I don't win this, I'm going to catch hell forever. Yeah. And it's basically just, hey, you guys got to prove it to me right now.
And you got everybody watching too, right? Watching. So you can, if you got practice, somebody block you or something, it's covered up maybe on film, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
But if you get blasted in Oklahoma drills and everybody's around you.
Everybody's hyping up.
Everybody's hyping up.
Yeah. They're jumping over you to get to the guy. Like, hey, hell yeah.
Yeah.
What were the meeting rooms like? Was he exposing a lot of guys? Like if you fucked up in practice, you sitting there and you're like, please God, don't go to this play.
So he was like Marty can get you to run through a wall. Mm-hmm. Like he gave these speeches that you would get up. I don't care what your day was like. You were getting up and you were running through a damn wall. But he always had this thing where he would, if he got too emotional, he would start tearing up and cry a little bit, right? So we had this thing in the team meeting room. If we had a good game and we were watching the film, we were talking about the film, and he's pointing out either the good or bad plays. But when he's pointing out the good is when he started to get like that. So we got this thing. We started to bet, right? So everybody's bringing 20s, you got hundreds. It's thousands of dollars flowing around. So everybody got cash in the team meeting room. Mm. And it was a clock right behind Marty. And we would look at this clock and we say over and under a minute and a half before he cries, right?
Just a
And
minute and a half, 90 seconds.
No, just 90 seconds because so after he looked at the film and he said, a guy, a big hustle play or running through or jumping over a pile or a touchdown, something big where a guy like laid his body on the line, he would get emotional about these type of things. So we had this thing. So
that
we got
consistently get emotional.
Oh, dude, it was like clockwork.
True football guy.
The straight football guy, 100%. And so we all got hundreds and 20s. So I'm coming in there about $500 because we're betting now at this point. The clock is right behind him. So as soon as he turn around from watching that play, the time it starts. And so we got in there, and then before he started to tear up, his bottom lip would always start to tremble a little bit, right? So we know it's coming.
Yeah.
So you hear us in there, we're looking at the clock because the clock is right behind him, and you're like, oh. Damn! You hear everybody like, because they either lost or they won, right?
Yeah.
And so you hear the guys in there upset. And so all you hear is this crinkled up money passing down.
Let's fucking go.
Dude, so sometimes I'll walk out of there with a couple grand, dude. Because I'm like, oh, that's a minute and 20. Bro.
When did he find out? He had to know eventually.
He did probably like the fourth or fifth time. And he was saying, right when he turned around, he's like, I know you motherfuckers betting on it. Like, and so we burst out, started laughing, dude, because we knew that he had found out that we were betting on him, whether he was going to cry or not, man. But I miss Marty, man. He was something else. He really like, you knew, like he was tough as nails, but he'll walk up to you in training camp sometime and just tap you on like, hey, take the 907 off.
Yeah.
He'll take whatever drills off to rest your body and stuff like that. So we had a tough part about him, but then he had the other side.
He would go to some guys that put in the work.
Yeah,
it says a lot too, like head coaches who can still motivate you through a speech, because you feel like when you go through college, you've heard all this stuff, right? And then as you taste the business of the NFL, it kind of gets outside the whole scope of the team all the time. So a coach that's able to like make you feel something in the speech.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard John Gruden give a speech when I was out in Oakland. It was like my 7th year, I think. And I just remember being like motivated after a practice and be like, man, it's kind of been a while since I felt like somebody make me feel something like
I know, because usually, I mean, especially with like Vrabel, who had for the longest time, he wasn't like a motivator, like tell a story, get you amped up, but he was a guy that like just always had the keys and everything. This is what we have to do to win, blah, blah, blah. And then we just send us out. Very rarely in the NFL do you feel that like, Friday Night Lights type of motivation type shit. But in high school, high school coaches, I feel like give the best speeches.
I think now with the NFL, everything is so like technical. So you don't get like the emotional, passionate speeches. You get like, this many times, this many percentages and breaking down numbers and shit. Like you got a handful of coaches still have that passion to get you up and run through a wall. But for the most part, it's like, a coach would take the sheet out and be like, hey, we were 37% on such and such down.
Yeah.
Right? You get what I'm saying? So it's become a lot more technical, like
a lot more analytical,
data driven.
like data driven.
Guys are trying to figure stuff out. Because I feel like the game has become so refined. Like everyone is so much faster, stronger, bigger, and techniques have gotten a lot better too. So everyone's just trying to find that small little thing you see a couple of years ago with the Patriots doing the field goal, bringing a guy from the sideline and running in. That was like a new little wrinkle they throw. And so every once in a while there's like a new change. But yeah, it's very much on the numbers. It's a very numbers game now.
We're going to take a break from the episode. This football season, don't walk around with helmet hair like a total rookie. You've been in the game long enough to know that how you wear your hair matters. And just because your team's mascot's a Wolverine doesn't mean you have to look like one up top. Keep your head in the game and go to Sport Clips. Their pro stylists have mastered the X's and O's of men's hair so you can get that tight fade while kicking back and watching some faded routes on TV. It's called a Hail Mary, not a Hair Mary. So don't just go anywhere. Head over to the pros in men's hair. They will have a perfectly crafted game plan to make you look your best. No halftime adjustments needed. Remember, the difference between an okay cut and a great cut is called Sport Clips. It is a game changer. Back to this episode.
One thing that hasn't changed though is rookie hazing.
Yeah.
And it has changed a little bit. Like you're not as hard as it used to be, but back in your day, what was that rookie hazing like your rookie year? Because I feel like you
probably ain't hate.
That's what I was gonna say.
And he probably, the way he talks about being cocky, he's probably one of those asshole rookies too, where it's like, come on,
Bro,
man.
just,
like,
just be a part of it.
Yeah, just be a part
You
of
have
it.
guys come in, they'll be like, yo, I'm not doing this shit. It's like, yeah, you got to.
Shawne's a psycho. Like, we ain't gonna.
We gotta-
fuck-
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
okay, so this is the thing. For me, I was like, if a guy asked me to carry helmets or pick stuff up, no problem.
Yeah.
But then you got some of the guys that like go overboard. I'm like, no, I'm still a man. You know, I'm not. You know, you going.
He's exactly what we thought he was.
He's the one that looks at you. He's the one that looks at you. He's like, hey, good luck.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
all right, listen.
Yeah, and it was that, you know, I had big Jamal Williams who played D tackle for us. We had Randall Godfrey and Donnie Edwards. We had some real OGs in the locker room. So if they told me to pick some stuff up off the field, no problem.
Yeah.
But then you had to put your foot down and say, listen, bro, like enough's enough. I mean, what are you gonna do at this point? And then you ask him, it's like, okay.
At the end of the day, no one really wants to fight.
Yeah, but you know what they did do to me though? They got me with that rookie dinner, dude.
Oh, how much?
32 racks.
No way.
Whole defense?
Whole team. So everybody
Shut the fuck.
So yeah.
Because now I feel like it's broken up offense, defense.
No, it's so I think they changed it after me. It was either me or it was either
the Trailblazer.
Dude, it was a record that you don't want to have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so I think it was either me or Dez Bryant. But so they got there, and if you're 4 years in, which you've vested after 4 years, right? That's the year mark. So after 4 years, you were invited to this rookie dinner. And normally the first round draft pick, he pays.
Yeah.
And I told this story, a few different times, man. But long story short, we go to this place in Del Mar called Papa Moose Grill, and I have no idea, bro. I just turned 21 that season, so I got no idea like what all this stuff costs, and like bottles of alcohol.
Don't understand $1 at all,
dude. Like Drew Brees got me with like 2 or 3 the bottles of wine, and were like $1,000 a piece.
Yeah,
and I got. Dude, I'm thinking of
spades.
wine. So I'm saying wine in a liquor store. You think like, oh, okay, it's $100, 200, whatever.
Yeah.
Max. And you find out those are $1,000. And he's sitting there with 2 bottles in his hand like that. But me, Jamal Williams, and Antonio Gates was drinking like this alcohol that I didn't know at the time called Louis the 13.
Louis 13.
Bro, they ordered. So they ordered one. My dumbass, I ordered 2 more, not knowing how much it was. So anyway, we go and everybody's eating good and all this other stuff. At the end of the night, the owner of the restaurant come and say, "Sean, I need to see you in the back." I was like, "For what? Like, bring me the bill,
show me
man."
around. Yeah. Meet the chef.
Yeah,
you thought you were. Oh, all right. I'm like that.
I was like, the chef, he's a fan, man. Cool. Let's
all right,
go
cool.
back,
Hey, I
right?
appreciate Maryland fan. All right, let's go.
Yeah. No, that wasn't the case. He was like, "Man, I need to see you in the back." And I'm getting frustrated at this point because I already told him twice. I said, "Just bring the bill, man. I'm trying to, get out there." So I said, "Please, just do me a favor, come me in the back." So I go in the back in the kitchen area, and he gives me this receipt, dude, to drop down like a Safeway or CVS receipt to my feet,
like a cartoon.
Oh, dude, to my feet. I couldn't believe it. And I was like, "Man, you made a mistake or something? Like, did you accidentally print it too many times?" I didn't know what was going on. And so anyway, I looked at the bottom of this thing and I lifted it up and I finally got to the bottom, and it was like $32,000, $100 and something and some. And my heart dropped to my socks. I mean, my heart, because I've never seen anything like this before in my life. So, when the bill bad, I don't know if you guys ever did this or not, but if you out with a group of people and somebody you trying to divide the bill up and stuff, you start looking at them like, dude, I didn't order garlic mashed potatoes, bro. Like, I'm like, dude, the bill's $32,000. What the hell is like? What does it matter at that point, right? But I'm sick and I'm trying to get out of this bill, and so I got my black card. I gave him my black card, and I'm hoping.
Hold on. All right.
Yeah.
That's a nice little flex you just put on us just now.
So,
21 with the black card.
Yeah, 21 with a black card.
So I'm hoping. I'm praying to God that this thing declines. I'm praying. For the one time, you're somewhere, you're traveling, and you're declining. You're like, man, God.
Kind of embarrassed.
Drew,
like,
I need you to give me
sorry
right.
about that.
Yeah. So I'm literally in my head, I'm begging for this thing to decline, dude. I'm like, please. If they call me, and then I give me enough time to go and work a deal out or work the bill out. And I gave it to him, and I'm hoping that when he comes back, he says, "Hey, you got to call him." And I was going to tell him, like, I'll just call him tomorrow or something, and I'll work the bill out separately, something down the road. They handed me the pen, and that shit went through. And nobody called me.
Yeah.
No one from American Express called me at all, bro. I was so sick. Bro, I was so sick. I couldn't believe it. And I was just that whole day, but my stomach was just in knots. I couldn't believe that just happened.
That it was back then. Were they added gratuity already?
Yeah.
Did the gratuity
Where
was
they
already
had
added?
gratuity. Yeah.
Because it would have been way worse if you're like, all right, what's 20% of
I
this?
mean,
and trying to
I don't
write
think
all that down.
I don't think I had the stomach to put my pen in that paper and add a tip like at
God.
that time. I don't think I could have done it.
You know it's
Just put
heartbreaking.
the line through it.
Dude, my rookie dinner, I literally, my credit was so bad. I had, whatever. I was a first round draft pick, but my credit was so bad that I had my credit card had $1,000 max on it for the month. So I had to like call my bank and be like, hey, I'm doing a rookie dinner tonight. I need you to get that max. It was like 2 hours.
Right.
How high
A
was
2 hour
your bill?
process. It's like $5,000.
Damn, 32.
Dude, I wish.
32 is nothing.
Remember, it was like 20 something when I was
Sorry,
on.
32 is a lot.
32
$5,000 is
insane.
nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
yes.
it'd be like they'd have the draft picks and like I want to say it was like the top 2 or 3 rounds, like they'd split it.
Yeah.
It'd be like 20 something grand, but they'd
Yeah.
split it. I haven't seen like a 32.
Yeah.
Dude, I never even heard like anything over 16. Like 32 is crazy.
Oh, dude, it was disgusting. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the
What we would do is we would get like towards the end, we would get the rookies, have them come in, we go to a nice place, and then we get Louis shots for everybody. But we would tell the restaurant like, hey, just do 1 Louis shot for whoever's paying for the dinner.
right.
And then just bring the rest of us like,
Hennessy or
plastic.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
something
Right.
ridiculous.
Just fuck with them a little
And
bit.
then like we would tell them, hey, amp that bill up. So a bill would be like, at the end, like we would do like $1,300, $1,400. It wouldn't be that much, but we'd make it look like $10,000, $15,000. So they'd be sweating and hurting. You get to see the pain in their face, and then you'd be like, hey man, it's all good. Take a 0 off that. You're all
Dude,
set.
if my bill was 10,000, I would have been happy as hell.
Really?
Oh man,
Dude.
I'd have been excited. I'd have been so happy if that bill was 10K.
God.
Because 32, man, it was like at that time the most expensive thing I would have bought was a house.
Yeah.
I didn't, and I bought a car, but outside of that, I had nothing that expensive ever.
What was that first car you were driving in rookie year?
G-Wagon.
Oh,
And
okay.
I bought the G-Wagon
Just 150
because
right there.
yeah, about that. And I sent it to West Coast Customs. When I got up there, so I had a decked
West
out
Coast
Yeah.
crazy G-Wagon. But I got that truck because of LeVar Arrington, who
who's a monster.
who was my mentor, my older brother. And I remember he at the time he was dating Serena, and they were coming to my games, LeVar and Serena Williams.
Mm-hmm.
They were coming to my football games. And so he would drive up on the field, bro, in that thing. And I just look over and I was like, man, when I get some money, man, I'm gonna
what
get
you
one.
Yeah.
Was that your first big purchase?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a write off too. It's over 5,000 pounds. Businessman.
Yeah.
You
Well,
out there locking
I'll
that
let
thing
them
in.
I'll let them at that time, man, I was blowing it up, so I ain't give a shit.
Yeah. You
Well,
were
yeah.
definitely the rookie showing up day one with the Louis bag,
100%.
the Gucci slips,
Jewelry,
new chain,
100%.
the whole thing.
No
What's
doubt.
the most expensive piece of jewelry you bought?
I had a $100,000 chain. I had a like 110.
shit.
Yeah. I was definitely wearing a lot of jewelry.
Man, you spent a lot of money with that first photo they popped up with the little landing strip right there.
Yeah.
That
Oh, dude, like,
he,
yeah, right
he was
there.
about that fashion.
that one on right there. I had that was about 70 right there, 60 or 70. But I had one that was 100.
No shit.
Yeah.
Did you ever haze into rookies?
Not really. You know what I used to do to guys? I would have them break my. This is the only thing I really did. I would have them break my cleats in because I hated wearing new shoes. So I would let them get the blisters and shit.
And
like
then
first.
You'd have them wear them.
Yeah. I would
For a
go
practice?
For a practice, and then give it to me.
No shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be so mad if someone was like, you need to wear these cleats. I'm like, bro, I have to break in my own. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That was as far as I got. I didn't do anything more than that.
Dude, talk to me about, so you're out in the Northeast, you're in Maryland, and then you get drafted by the Chargers. Were you just like so hyped up? Have you been to California before this time?
No, never. The only time, I take that back. I did go on my visit,
Yeah.
and so, dude, I never even seen
The top 30s?
Yeah,
Okay, got
Yeah.
you.
and so we got there when they brought me out. I never seen like palm trees and stuff like that in person. That was my first time like actually
Yeah.
seeing.
Right.
So we're going over and you see that PB area and you see all the water and I said, dude, this is like a dream.
Yeah.
I wish I can get drafted here. This is like paradise.
You didn't care to go all the way across the country?
No. In fact, I wanted to.
Right.
Because
get away from it all.
high school in Maryland, college in Maryland, so I actually wanted to go,
Mm-hmm.
kind of on the West Coast. So I took the trip to Dallas. I took the trip to Detroit, the Chargers, and then Redskins at the time because they were home.
Team formerly
The
known.
team,
Yeah.
So I met with them 4. And they told me, they said, look, if we don't think you'll be around the 12th pick, we think you'll go somewhere in the top 5, top 7. Definitely top 10. They didn't think I would get outside that top 10, but they said if you do, we're gonna draft you. This is coming from AJ Smith at the time, the general manager.
Where'd you think you were going when you were coming in the draft?
Either 1 to San Fran or 3 to Cleveland. I thought I was going to either one of those.
Yeah.
If I didn't go there with so many options, because I came out and I was like 270. All the scouts initially thought I was like around 245, and I weighed in at 272. So now they didn't know if I was going to play outside linebacker or defensive end. They couldn't believe that I was moving around like that at that size.
Yeah,
so they just didn't
know. That's a lot
know.
of man.
So now it went from like possibly going top 15 to like now that top 5 to 7.
Right.
And so yeah, man, I thought I was going to go 1 to San Fran. They got Alex Smith, went, and then 3 to Cleveland. They chose Braylon Edwards. And then the Redskins that year, I forgot who they got. They got Carlos Rogers, right, the cornerback from Auburn, right? And then I went to go meet with Dallas. And the thing is, with Dallas, I met with Jerry Jones and Bill Parcells. So they told me that they want to draft me.
You're thinking Bill Parcells, he had LT.
You're thinking you're about to have the star on the side of your helmet.
Yeah, dude. The office that me, Jerry Jones, and Bill Parcells sitting there was probably about the size of this bus.
Yeah,
like this how tight it felt.
Really.
And you got like Jerry Jones sitting right there. You got Bill Parcells sitting there, dude. Yeah. And I'm a 20. I don't even think I was 21 yet. I think I was 20. And I'm sitting there, and dude, I felt. It was 2 big powerhouses in the room, and you got Bill Parcells, who's just tough as nails, and you got Jerry Jones sitting right there. And so Jerry's like sitting up on the desk with his leg up on the desk and saying, Shawne, if you're there in the 11th pick, we're gonna draft you. And then Bill Parcells tells me, said, yeah, we're gonna draft you. We want you here. As soon as you get here, I'm gonna work your ass to death. This is what he told me, Bill Parcells.
No shit.
Bill Parcells said, as soon as you get here, we're gonna work your ass to death. And in my head, I'm thinking like, man, I'm not trying to come here.
For real?
No.
Just coach saying we're going to work you. Like, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Were you surprised going from like college? Well, this was a big surprise for me. Is like being in college and seeing the facilities, and then going to places like I haven't been to the Chargers facility in San Diego, but notoriously a very cheap franchise. And so you kind of see all these other ones. Were you surprised at how maybe the Chargers were or Washington was compared to Dallas?
Well, you always got this thing with like America's team anyway. Like there's the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. So people just knew they were like the team.
They're the team. Yeah. And then, it's Texas football in general. It's just a whole different beast. But then you got Dallas Cowboys. And for me, when I got to San Diego, it was more like, dude, I got off the plane. It was 75 degrees and the best weather you can ever ask. It was almost not real. Right. Like it didn't feel real.
The taxes were.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but when you make enough money, you're not thinking about that at the time. Now, as much as I know now, I'm like,
right.
God damn, why
52% just going to Uncle Sam? You're like, oh my God.
I'm like, ask Bill Parcells, like, please work me to death, right? Like,
no state income tax in Texas. You're like, damn, I could have saved so much money.
I need my ass worked.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. And it is crazy too, because like, I don't know. Let's just say the taxes were the same in Texas as California was the same as Texas.
Yeah.
Bro, they'd be the most overflooded state of all time. It is so beautiful. Right. It is such a beautiful place to be, especially Southern California.
Dude, I still argue with people. I think that San Diego is the best place to live in the country.
It might be.
Like,
a lot of people feel that way, especially when they've had like a month or 2 there.
Yeah.
I was just there 2 months ago for 4 or 5 days, and I loved it.
Yeah, dude. That's where I would train in the off season. I would go to Encinitas.
Oh yeah.
And I would be in Carlsbad at the Exos over there, and I was just like, dude, this is unbelievable.
It just seems like you're on a constant vacation, like on a permanent vacation, living out there.
So when you're falling in the draft, you think, one, how dope would it be to be the first overall pick in a draft? Like, what a milestone, what an opportunity. That comes and goes.
Yeah.
3 comes, it's like, all right, it is Cleveland, but still, top 3 would be insane. That goes.
Yeah.
Where's your mind at as you start essentially falling in this draft?
Well, it moved to like 6 or 7 because I think the Vikings had 6 or 7. Yes, they had 7 that year. And so Mike Tice, he played football at the University of Maryland. So I thought it was going to be Minnesota after that. Once Minnesota passed, I knew it was going to be Dallas or the Chargers.
Yeah,
like 100%.
You feel any type of way when they grabbed DeMarcus Ware?
Not really, because
stud.
You fall 1 pick and then you wasn't, and there was also a team you wanted to go to. You get what I'm saying? So wasn't that? Now I'm mad because they told me what they told me, and I went home and telling my family.
Right.
You know, that part I was pissed off about, because what happened was half my family was divided up coming from the DMV area between then Redskins fans and Cowboys. You know,
Washington and Dallas
Cowboys. It's rivalry. You know, half my family, half and half.
Yeah.
So half my family was excited, the other half of my family was pissed off.
Yeah.
You know, so what they did is that my family that was Dallas Cowboy fans, they went out and got custom made 56 Merriman jerseys. And so the Redskins fans at the time went out and got 56 Redskins jerseys. And so when the Redskins were on the clock, which I think they were like the 9th pick or something like that, or 9th or 10th pick, 9th pick, they were on the clock. And when they passed me, you just heard the wind let out the, oh shit, you know, kind of
wasted a bunch of money on custom jerseys.
Yeah.
Ripped the jerseys out the bag, threw them in the back. So you heard that part. And so the rest of my family was excited because they knew I was going to the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And so they got out. I hear the bags open because they're all taking the jerseys out of the bags. And so the Cowboys passed me up, and you heard the same thing. Shit, just slamming the jerseys or whatever. And then I got a call from Marty. And at this time, and you know, like if you feel like people pass you up, you got a chip on your shoulder. Not just the Cowboys. It was like everybody who passed up. So I felt like that I had a chip on my shoulder for that reason. And so Marty called me. He was like, "Hey, this is Shawne Merriman." I say, "Yes, this is Shawne. Hey, this is Coach Schottenheimer. You ready to be a Charger?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, y'all! You guys ready to call my name so I can get out there and get to work?" And after that, it was kind of history.
I was reading where what was the learning curve like for you when you did finally arrive at training camp? Obviously, you was talking about Lorenzo, Neal, and everything else. Yeah. But I want to say I read or heard you talking about how basically they were structuring the game plan around you because you weren't necessarily privy to what was even going on the field.
Dude, I knew nothing.
Which is crazy.
Bro.
That is insane.
Dude, I knew nothing. And because I got there so late, and mind you, you know, the playbooks, I try to tell everybody, like the playbooks are this big. And when you play a strong or weak side linebacker, it changes depending on what side of the strength. Right. So your whole responsibility may change. And then the game is so fast, you got guys motioning, shifting, and then your mind is just, I couldn't catch up.
Right.
You know? And so finally, I had Greg Minuski as my linebacker coach.
He was my DC in Washington.
Yeah.
I love Coach Minuski.
Dude, with the best dude. And the character, beyond belief.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just going, douche.
Yeah.
Just drawing shit on the board. He's like one of the most fun coaches I've ever had.
Yeah. The best. And then John Pagano was also the assistant linebacker coach.
Okay.
And Wade Phillips was the D court. Dude, I had a great coaching staff.
That's an awesome staff.
3 different, you know, one obviously ended up being a head coach or was a head coach of Wade Phillips. And you had Minuski, who's been around as a player, as a coach, D coordinator. And then John Pagano also as a coach, defensive coordinator as well. So I really had like 3 really like great coaches. So they knew I can play. They knew I can run and I was fast and all that shit or whatever. They brought me after practice one day in a linebacker meeting room, and Wade Phillips and Minuski sitting right here and Pagano sitting here and Wade Phillips right here is like, listen, see ball, go ball. And I'm confused. I'm thinking like they're playing, like they're testing me, right? Because I don't know what that means. They said, we want you to see ball, go ball. I said, Coach, what does that mean? They said, well, when you see the ball, go to it. We'll line you up. And that was it. So when they called a strength or they called a strong side or weak side blitz or whatever, I knew I had to go to the strength. And when they say your name is called, you go. And when your name is not called, you drop. That was my playbook for the first like 4 to 6 weeks.
And when you say when your name is called, is it baked into the call?
Yes.
Like is the Mike Backer saying?
Yep, a Sam Mike blast, right? So if I'm strong side, Sam, I'm blitzing. If they said Will cover 3 or whatever it is, my name not called, I got the
drop a curl flat.
Drop a curl flat.
Even then, it's just him answering it shaky. You want to make sure Sean's blitzing every time.
Yeah.
Am I going back to a hook? What are we in here? Are we in a
dude? And look,
we in a zone, dog?
And dude, if they shifted it, you know, one of those things, because it's the worst. It's literally the worst feeling. Like you don't know what the hell's going on, and so they made it so it was see ball, go ball, dude, for the first 4 to 6 weeks, and that helped.
Yeah.
And then by like week 6. I was able to be interchangeable on sides. I didn't have to switch sides anymore. I knew that if it shifted or the strength shift, then I can pick up on what the wheel was supposed to do.
Right.
So by week 6, I was clicking.
That's when you're feeling good.
That's when I was good.
There is not a worse feeling in the world when a call is made and you're like trying to ask somebody, what the hell you're supposed to
Dude,
be doing.
I was going to blitz.
Yeah.
Like no matter
Everything
what.
fails, just
if
fucking rush.
Everything fails, just get the sack, dude. Pray to God.
It was on like Shawne. Oh yeah, good play. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
How many sacks did you get when you weren't even supposed to rush?
oh shit, probably at least 10. Probably.
Well, yeah, like what did you have, like 39 in the first 3 years?
Yeah, like 39, 40. And then and that was when I was suspended in 06. You know, I had
Yeah.
17, 18 sacks in 06.
Bro, talk about the suspension.
Yeah.
I mean, the lure, the mystery,
Yeah.
the Shawne Merriman PED, steroids, you end up getting injured afterwards. Like the entire career of Shawne Merriman.
Yeah.
People always ask and talk about
Yep.
the PED situation.
I think it was so big at that time. I'll tell you the biggest thing, because all that stuff was going on with Balco. That's why it was so big.
Mm-hmm.
It was like when Balco was going after it was so big. The track and
It
field.
remind me of the Balco stuff.
That was the Victor Conti, like the track stars, like who was actually going to see doctors and like clinics.
Yeah,
Probably your doctor in Ohio.
Got you.
No, this was massive. This was like the whole things where they were trying to tie Barry Bonds to. This was like the big McGuire. Yeah, this was Sosa. This was that era.
Right.
When all that happened. And so when I got suspended, I was like, I got thrown right in the mix with all of them. And I was like, dude, I never seen a doctor for shit. You know, I got suspended for something that was over the counter. Like you can go to any vitamin shop or whatever. And what happened was that they put it on the list from the previous year, wasn't there. Right. And so me being me, I didn't look at anything. So when the PA sends out this new thing before, and it was on there, there wasn't
right
it
where
wasn't,
they shoot you the email with all the bands.
right?
Yeah.
Or they bring it into and they do that talk before the year.
Right.
They come in. But I just balled it up and put it in my locker because I was like, I'm not taking anything different.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually got suspended during the off season. I got tested during the off season, and at the time I was tested 20 times. This was my 20th test that I failed.
Mm-hmm.
And
20th test that you failed?
No, I mean, sorry, 20th test that I took. And
Okay,
the 20th one
gotcha.
that I failed the 20th test.
Gotcha.
Because they were testing the shit on my, like all the time, dude. They was like, hold on, this rookie out here, like just going bonkers, like, you know. And so I got tested and 2 months before the season started, or a month and a half before the season started. So it takes like 6 to 8 weeks before sometimes you get your results back. But I actually popped. I got suspended during the off season. I took my suspension during the season. At no point in time did I ever test positive after that.
Mm-hmm.
It was that particular time during the off season of the supplements I was taking, and it was on the ban list.
Yeah.
And I just didn't know. And so when I sent everything in, I forgot the guy's name in Ohio who was the head of the he was the one to do the testing and you talked to. I forgot his name.
He's probably the same guy.
Yeah. And so through the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
and they said, Shawne, look, we understand, but whatever you put in your body is on you, regardless. Right. And I said, hey, could you guys just fine me the 4 games and don't suspend? I was trying to figure out a way because I sent them the supplement. They was like, yep, this is it. But it's on the list. I said, well, I'm not trying to beat the system. Here it is.
Yeah.
I sent it to him. You know, I've been hired an attorney and I hired some doctors and scientists from UCLA. I spent a ton of money to show them like I'm not trying to beat the system.
Mm-hmm.
And this was cool. And I know Roger Goodell gets a lot of slack, but he did something he didn't have to do because he felt that I was being unfairly treated because of this thing. You know, Roger Goodell actually came out and said he told the public that I had tested 20 times, 19 of them clean, without a problem. And this is the 20th time that I got it. And I called him. I said, hey, I appreciate that, man. You didn't have to do that. Because he also felt like, hey, look, these are the rules, but how I was being treated at that time for that wasn't fair. Right.
Especially in the
can you
public
expand
eye.
on like how you were being treated? You're just saying you were just guilty and
you know, so like people,
because you're not the only one with the PED suspension on the bus.
Right.
I did. I had a little Austrian incident. It was
a little dust
I
up.
went through the whole thing. I got tested in May, or I got tested in March. Got tested again in April. March was clean. Then April, I had like trace amounts for a thing called Austrian.
Right.
And I went through this whole. I did a lie detector test, like just trying to prove that I'm innocent.
Right. And you got suspended anyway, right?
I got suspended 4 games.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. It's, you know, they make it clear that they don't give a damn what you put. Like it's you.
Right.
Whatever you take, it's on you. And so I was like, you know, I get it, but at least you guys see what I was taking. I'm not trying to hide it. And they said, we get it, we understand, but you still put it in your body. It's on you. So, and I don't know how long it took for you to get your test back, but it took me like 6 to 8 weeks.
It's about the same.
That, right? And so when this was happening. This was the craziest shit. So when I tested positive for the PEDs, I didn't get a letter from the NFL until after week 1. We played the Raiders.
Shit.
And this didn't help. We played the Raiders Monday night, and I opened up with like 3-4 sacks the first game of the year, right?
Going crazy.
Going.
That offensive line was like, I knew it.
Yeah,
as soon as it happened, they're like,
everybody, like, it's because I was big at the put together, so they're looking at me like,
yeah, look at you don't say, bro. Like, look at you fucking.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
I was kind of jacked. It's like, oh, you don't fucking say.
Like dapping up a brick wall when you walk in.
He said, "What's up?" Like, God damn, all right.
It was one of those things where I got the 4 sacks and I came back. It was a Monday night game. We got back from Oakland Tuesday, and I go in my locker and there's a FedEx in my locker. So the only thing at the time that I knew they sent out was fines in a FedEx. And I said, hold on, should we just play yesterday? So they can't find, how do they find me already?
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh shit, they starting this shit again,
trying
to come after me. And I opened up the letter and it showed exactly like what you've been suspended for this, and this. And I'm looking at it like it's some kind of joke. Because we played some sick jokes on each other in the locker room. We played so many like just cruel, messed up jokes to each other. So I'm thinking like one of the linebackers or one of the DBs that like typed up some letter, or like I'm really thinking they're playing around with me, you know. And I took it to the trainer, James Collins, and I said, James, this is not funny, man. Who's doing this shit? I said, what is this from? And he read it. He's like, yeah, it looks like the NFL is suspending you for. I said, it's real? He said, yeah. So I go and I call my agent at the time. I'm freaking out. I don't know what the hell's going on. Got to be a mistake. I'm thinking like, it has to be a mistake.
That rage is coming out, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
Who fucking wrote this?
Oh, goddamn.
Just straight off the program and shit. I'm coming there knocking down the door. And so, I'm like, this got to be a joke. It's got to be. So I'm like, because what I thought was like steroids is needles. That's what I'm like from where I come from. We don't know about that type of shit. We barely can afford food. Like, we ain't buying no extra steroids. If we were buying something, it was going to be food.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know that life. So I always thought like, well, this got to be wrong because I'm not shooting nothing on my ass. And so later on, I ended up finding out that there's stuff, stimulants and all kind of shit and other stuff. Tainted.
It's a whole different world.
It's a whole different world.
Any like nutritional, any supplement store you walk into.
Yeah.
There could be something in it. Yeah.
And it's that one little Diana, like just a long name, right? And I'm like, I'm not a scientist. How am I supposed to know that this means steroids? You just don't know. So anyway,
you just knew it was helpful.
I just knew it got me extra workout in. During the off season,
got that pre-workout in. The caffeine's crazy in this one. I go all day.
I was like,
my bench has gone up 50 pounds.
I'm like sitting there curling 200 and shit. I'm like, this is some good, whatever this is.
You're running around the facility confused. People are like, come on, man. What are you talking about? No, for real.
And so I was suspended. And they gave me an option, which was really dope. And so I appealed it because we wanted to figure out like what was wrong. We had to appeal it so we wouldn't just take it right away. But what I did was I looked at the schedule and saw who we had there. And we had a 4-game stretch. And at the time, they wasn't that good. We had like the Bengals, the Browns. We had 4 teams that wasn't good. So the team was basically like, okay, we don't need you these weeks. So I dropped the appeal and I took my suspension. So I didn't even fight it anymore because it was like, again, you can take the lie detector, you can do whatever you want.
Right.
They're going to suspend you.
You're even done. Now, like it's the NSF certified, but they even say, even if an NSF certified product gets popped, it's still on you.
No doubt about it. And there's a whole bunch of batches. I could go on for 30 minutes about this. I've gone through the whole entire process.
And so like you know that first of all, people look at us anyway, they think we all on some shit. I mean, the regular person, look at us like, he got to be on whatever.
Right.
Because they can't understand, like some of us we're just built differently. We're working out 6-7 days a week. Our bodies are trained to do this. So the regular person was already like, and then me on top of that out there playing and acting the way I was
3
acting.
sacks in the first game.
They was like, yeah, him for sure.
Right. Right.
And so I was like, God damn. So you almost get tagged with that no matter what. And I came back and I had more sacks so I didn't test even during the season. I didn't test positive. This was during the off season. And what I found out, it stays in your system for like a few weeks up to 30 days. It stays in your system. So never tested it for anything during the season. But when I came back, I was so pissed off. I had a chip on my shoulder at that point. Because I read all this stuff and dude, it was on CNN, like Al Jazeera, like it was everywhere.
No shit.
It was so big at the time. I was like, I didn't know who the hell Al Jazeera was. I'm like, why is he talking shit about? Like, I don't even know what it was, like international news.
Right.
And it was so big. So when I came back, I was like really, really pissed off. I was really mad. So I ended up having more sacks when I came back than to when I left.
Yeah.
And that really just pissed people off more. And the fact that I made the Pro Bowl and then was up like top 3 finishing defensive player of the year, they made that rule where you can't go to the postseason if you get suspended or have anything.
Yeah, you can't be a Pro Bowl.
He still was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah,
Right.
which I want to thank you for that because 2019 I got suspended and it was my best year of football I ever played. And I wasn't allowed to make the Pro Bowl.
The Merriman rule.
Yeah, literally.
They
Would have been 4 in a row. Would have been
You know
4 in a
what?
row.
They did. Yeah, so they put that Merriman rule up. And again, this is when Roger Goodell came out and was like, this is not fair. There's tons of guys.
What prompted Goodell to do that for you? Why do you think that?
I don't know. I think that because I met with him before and I was around him a lot. So
and the heat was high, like you're saying at the time with baseball, track, and
Yeah,
everything else.
yeah.
And you were like you were a star. Like you were on commercials, like you were him.
Yeah, and that's all of that really amplified all of it.
Yeah.
Right. And so when you're already out there and you're visible and people see you, and then something like that happens, it's like magnified,
Right.
beyond belief. And so I was really pissed off when I came back. I had to, finish up the season, and then they made that rule, and then that's when Jason Taylor and these guys Jason Taylor won that year, and Jason Taylor was like talking shit. He was like, you shouldn't win, and like to the media.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they were out the playoffs. We went to the playoffs that year. So I sent him a lights out T-shirt and a bag of popcorn and told him to sit his ass on the couch. I sent it to the locker room.
No shit.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah.
Nice
And so he opened
troll.
it. So I made sure that he got it. The team player personnel, they took it to him and made sure he got it because I had a friend that knew it. I said, make sure he get this. So I sent him a lights out T-shirt and a bag of popcorn. They said, make sure you watch us in the playoffs.
What did he say? How did he respond?
Nothing. He came back and he was pissed.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you something that happened though, and again, I was much different then. We ended up going to the Pro Bowl. And this was when it was in Hawaii. Me, I'm the type, if you're gonna say some things like that, when I see you in person, keep that same energy with me, right? I get.
Bro, I've played with you before. You know what I'm saying? I've played with you. I know exactly who you are in the locker room. And it's
Keep
like,
that
yo,
same
I feel like
energy.
you're the dude. Hey, we can joke around, have fun, but there's a couple buttons. Just like, yo, stay the fuck away from those buttons.
So okay. So what happened was, so we got down there, and I brought my family, my grandmother down there. I brought my whole entire family down there. I flew like 10 people out to that Pro Bowl that year. And so I checked in and I put my bag at the Bills desk. I didn't even check in the room. I put it by the Bills desk and I went to go look for Jason Taylor. And so, cause I'm like, if you going, and he wasn't even like he was campaigning for himself. He was like talking shit to me about me. And I'm like, okay, that's fine, but you got to see me at some point. Right.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even check in my room, and we stand at the Ilani in Waikiki. I pull my bag in the Bills desk. So I go off and looking for Jason Taylor.
You got 10 people with you. Has anybody said, hey, probably
they're
don't?
in the other hotel. Other hotel.
Did you tell them about your plans to go find Jason
No,
Taylor?
so I had them to book me a room because I was ready to get sent home.
Yeah.
Right? And so
okay.
I had a room at the other hotel. And so, and this is like in LT, and then so I walked past an LT and Lorenzo Neal was with me, and I didn't even talk to them. I was like, I'll be right back. And I walked right by them. And so they was like, where you going? And so they started to follow me.
Because they knew something was up.
Because they knew something was up. And so Gene Upshaw, Gene Upshaw, they got Gene up, and so Gene Upshaw is the one to stop me. And I was on the way. I ended up seeing Jason Taylor, and I was beelining towards him. So LT, Lorenzo Neal, and Gene Upshaw stopped me because I was going to go see him.
Yeah.
And they thank God, just me being young and hot headed, they sat me down and said, "Hey, Shawne, you can't do this." And I was like, "Well, I just want him to say the same shit he said to the newspaper, to me, right?"
Yeah, but what happens if he says the same shit to you as he said to the newspaper? Lights out.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad.
Exactly
because I had already planned to go home. I was going to plan to get sent home anyway. And I had my family to book an extra hotel. They flew out there. I'm just enjoying my family for the week. I'm fine, right? And so they sat down. They all sat me down. Gene Upshaw, Lorenzo, Neal, and LT sat me down. They said, we couldn't do this. Maybe you should go talk to him. Let us go talk to him. So Gene Upshaw, I believe, ended up going to talking to Jason Taylor and let him know like what really happened, right? That this wasn't intentional. Like I wasn't like just some steroid head that's out here taking shit to beat the system. And so everything diffused, but I look back on it now. I'm like, dude, what the hell were you like? Why would you?
Yeah.
Did you talk to Jason?
No, I've seen him a couple times, but I didn't. We never really talked about that. We never really talked about that. But yeah, I'm glad, dude. I'm glad.
But you guys got to practice. Like there is practice, and you're both in the AFC. So obviously you're on the same field together.
True, yeah.
So during the week, is it like I'll stay on this side, you stay, and you guys kind of?
I think after Gene Upshaw talked to him. And I think Lorenzo,
and you knew like, hey, this is the conversation that they had.
They had. It was kind of water under the bridge. I mean, we never became best friends or anything, but I think it was a better understanding of what happened. Yeah, so I never really got an opportunity to talk to him about that.
Because you imagine if you get suspended for steroids and then you go to the Pro Bowl and you beat the shit out of Jason Taylor or you fight him, you would essentially prove everybody right. Like you would never be able to get out of that.
Not only is he a steroid, he's a thug.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was, no, dude, I'm serious. I'm glad. Like I said, I had some older guys that were, kind of leading in the right direction. Like LT and Lorenzo, like I can thank them so much for everything they've done, but mainly stuff like that, right? Because they didn't have to, but they knew me well enough to know when I beeline past them that something was going to happen. Something was going down. And they followed me, and then I think Neal might have acted. And by the way, Neal's a champion wrestler, right?
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah. Like Neal's like a top end wrestler. And so he grabbed me and was like, dude, you can't, physically. It was like, you can't do this.
Right.
So it was really him, LT, and then Gene Upshaw.
Was there ever a time in practice? Because listen, fighting in practice is just like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
They had to know when you beeline past them that you're going to do something. What made them know that if you walk past them, you're up to something?
I was good for a fight or two every training camp.
Had to
book it, yeah. Book it.
Prison rules. Essentially, someone wants to try you. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like, and then you know how it is. You just see this. You see the same guy every day, so it don't take much at that point. Like an extra shove right after the play, and it's
grabbing the jerseys. You try to walk away, and they're still holding on to it.
Y'all two might have fought.
Yeah, we would have.
Yeah,
we would have definitely fought
for sure. But dude,
sitting here right now,
like it happens all the time. I'm thinking, yeah, I mean, maybe with one or two guys.
Yeah, there was always right.
But I'll say this.
Listen,
man,
I see your neck, and I realized I would have been in a bit of a situation, but I would have swung. I want you to know that.
No, for sure, dude.
I would have been back there.
I would have had more respect if you did swing back on me in the first place.
I would have swung first.
For sure.
I'm thinking to myself, God damn, that's a big ass cat.
But I played with some dogs like Chris Dillman and those guys, dude. Around the Nick Hardwick. Like I played with some guys.
Yeah, Hardwick, center, right?
Yeah, center.
Gunned up.
Yeah,
head to toe.
Yeah, all of those guys were badasses, dude. So we battle all the time, but man, I so much respect for them guys for real.
What about when you get off the field? Let's say you get in a big fist fight. How are you handling yourself after that? Are you need to calm down, or is it, hey, what's on the field stays on the field?
I didn't really fight much off the field.
Yeah,
no,
it's good.
No, never.
But I'd have been on the right side of defense with him. Because I would have just got him still like, hey, you want more of this shit? There's more than I can find. Shawne, hey, good shit in there, big dog. Just talking shit, knowing we got the junkyard dog.
What's crazy is you talk about fighting fighting people. You've swung at me in a game and in practice.
I've never swung at you in practice.
That walkthrough practice we had.
Well, yeah, we're in a walkthrough practice, and he's just running me to the sideline in a walkthrough practice.
It's a jog through, but I had to let Willie know. Hey, sometimes you're gonna get on the edge. It's gonna happen to you. This is a stand-up linebacker.
I'm not like Shawne. You just drove him out the screen.
What's that?
You just drove him out.
It was a jog. It was a jog through type situation.
Before preseason game, we're all out. We're not playing, so we're just going through a walkthrough.
Right.
And they did a shift where the mic comes down. They basically go to a bear.
Was it?
No, we're on the same team.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, were you playing around with him?
Yeah, I was.
He's just trying to put me. He was just trying to let me know, like, okay, you don't belong on the edge.
Yeah, you don't belong. You're not setting edge for anybody. And I was like, I want to show Will, like, when you play down here, this is what happens. And you were kind of mad for a couple days.
I know I wasn't, bro.
Man, you were kind of acting like a bitch. Remember that? Dude, okay, you brought up a lot of teammates. Who's your favorite teammate of all time?
Man, we had such a close group, you know, like me and D Spro, like a lot of us, we still talk almost every day. You know, I was just talking to D Spro as I was walking up
that's
to you guys. Below Neal, LT, Tone's probably my boy, Antonio Gates. Phil, dude, like I love Phil to death.
Right.
I do. I love everything about Phil. The thing is, I hated him when he was at NC State because I was at Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I hated his guts, bro. Like every time I saw, like I said, I want to do something to him every time I saw him.
Yeah.
Because you see him on the film, and he just at the time when you're watching the film we watch, there's no sound, right? You don't have the commentary. It's got the angle and the 2 wide angle,
Right.
And you just see him doing that,
chirping.
He's just chirping. I was like, dude, I'm gonna kick his ass, right? And every time he never beat us when he was at NC State, Maryland. He never beat us not one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was his last play, his senior year. It was my sophomore year, and I hit Phil in the back of the end zone. It's at NC State, and we beat them that game. And I hit him in the back of the end zone, and I push up off of him. Right as I'm walking away, he ankle locks me, grabs my ankle, and starts to
Phillip
twist.
Rivers.
Phillip grabs my ankle and start to twist it.
Gator rolled you.
A full-on ankle lock, bro. Like my ankle was like. And I couldn't believe it that a quarterback was doing this.
Yeah.
There's a picture of him somewhere, me and him standing up in the back of the end zone about to square off and fight. And he walked right up on me, and we were about to fight in the back of the end zone. And at that moment, man, he got my respect. I was like, man, this dude is tough.
No shit. This is when y'all in college.
This is in college. There it is. Yeah, there it is.
Phillip Rivers is like a notorious shit talker that never curses, ever.
It's unbelievable because at that time, and his teammates at NC State loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know, I was like, he's an asshole. You know, like he's always talking. And when I got there my rookie year and you got a chance to be around him and you saw that competitive spirit, and it was nonstop. But it wasn't even on the field anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It was dominoes. It was cards. He'll walk by you in the gym and you know, we're playing, let's call it the Seattle Seahawks or whatever. And Walter Jones, you know, all-pro Walter Jones is there. And I got just during the season, I got the 120s on the dumbbells. I'm cranking them out for 10. He'll walk by me like, you know, you got Walter Jones. Those 120s not going to do nothing, right? This is him, just nonstop.
Constantly talking.
Just nonstop. And I go and I grab the 130s. Now I'm pissed off, you know? And so it was with him. And I'm glad that everybody's getting an opportunity to see him because you got the audio Now he's like praised for,
right.
But there was a time where Phillip was seriously hated. He was like he was really looped in with Jay Cutler a lot, and this dude's asshole, and he talks trash. They had pictures and videos of him talking trash. We were playing the Colts in the AFC playoffs.
Yeah.
So he had this thing about him. People just like, oh, this dude's a jerk, and he wasn't at all. And I was like, man, I wish you got a chance to know him.
Yeah.
Because he's not being serious at all. It's not like he's the type, man, if you hit him, he'll tap you on the head like, hey, you almost got me. Next time you got to.
You're right.
And you like, why are you talking?
Right.
Why are you talking so much?
God.
But you start to, over time, you just start to appreciate his competitiveness. For sure, the most competitive player I ever played with.
Something about these old school quarterbacks just seemed like they were like great, like shit talkers, pranking. Like we had Peyton Manning on. He was talking about the pranks he would do. Tom Brady, I've heard, done a lot of pranks. Was he a big prank guy at all?
Oh, dude, he never stopped playing. He was the biggest kid as you can ever imagine.
Yeah.
He, so I used to break down the huddle, before every game, you know, kind of jump, let's get it.
Yeah.
Let's get it. And so Phillips will start imitating me, everything that I do. And he can walk like me. It's the craziest thing ever, bro. He's a big kid.
Yeah.
And so he's like the kid you got to watch what you say around because they repeat. So he's had
He'll
these
mock you,
They had to mock you, right? And so he's had these things, the freestyle Fridays.
Yeah.
Or, you know, freestyle Fridays. And so we would have whatever the hottest song at that time on the radio would play. We would play it all the time in the locker room. And again, you got to watch Phillip because he would listen. He watches and listens to everything. Even if he's not saying it, he's watching you. It's like a comedian that's waiting to bust jokes on you that he's just waiting, and he watches everything you do. And so whatever the hottest radio show was on, so we were in the team meeting room, the defensive team meeting room. And we're sitting there watching the film, and we hear somebody coming down the hallway, but they're rapping. Who's that? And they're loud. We got up and walked by the door and it's Phillip rapping to whatever the hottest track was on
Just
the radio.
dropping
Straight bars.
Just staying current, staying relevant.
Yeah. And it was almost like one of these things where he just picked up on everything you did. And he would rap whatever the latest song was. So
Was Drew Brees rapping?
No, dude. Drew that was no. Drew was like always locked in, bro. You know, like just really focused, going straight to whatever he's doing. Like he didn't really joke around a whole lot. But it was cool to see that because when I walked in the locker room, you got Drew Brees as a starter, and you got Phillip Rivers the backup.
Crazy.
Which is nuts.
Nuts, bro. And then you also in Buffalo, who was it? Fitzmagic?
Yep. Fitzy. Fitzy was the quarterback.
Just three very unique personalities.
Yeah.
What did Fitz? I heard this rumor about Fitz that he would get Yeti coolers for his offensive lineman every single year with his face on it. Did that hold true in Buffalo?
I think so. I think so.
He was on the Titans, I think, the year before I got there, and everybody had a Yeti cooler, like the big one.
Yeah.
With his little, like a silhouette of his face and beard.
Yeah.
All on that thing.
Yeah, he's. So I would, at the time I was single, so I was like looking at girls and stuff on social media.
Yeah.
You know, and so sometime I would, looking at stuff on social media, and I would have my phone down. He will come to my locker every day and just looks like, who do you got? Who do
we got today? Who we got out there today? Dog, that is so funny.
Dude, he was I played with some great dudes, man, and he's definitely one of them. He's up there for sure.
How was the transition going from LA to Buffalo?
No, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were transitioning out of NFL, but go ahead.
No, yeah, transitioning going from LA, where you were at, the impact you made in LA, and then going out to Buffalo.
Well, so I got waived by the Chargers. I had so many injuries back to back. You were talking about the compensation thing. Like my Achilles were partially torn, and it kept tearing a little bit more at a time until it eventually popped. But at the time I was compensated, so I had a calf, a hip, a knee. It was just constant, and I just couldn't stay healthy. So finally, they had to stop the bleeding, and they waived me. And then when you get waived at that time, the team with the worst record gets first dibs. And at the time, like Buffalo's 0-6, I think 0-6 or 0-7.
Where's your mental at when you get waived? Like all that, you can't stay healthy. Obviously, you get in the tank. It's an up and down ride. Like where were you at mentally?
I was shocked, and it didn't really hit me until I left the building. And so I remember going to. I mean, coaches were crying. I mean, Pags, Pagano. I mean, Manuski. Everybody was just like it was like a dark cloud that day because I don't think anybody saw me ever leaving the Chargers.
Right.
But I had so many injuries at that time. I couldn't stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, even when I was talking to the dean and owner, it was a very sad day in that building. And, it was like North, it was bad. It was a really bad day. And so I left. And then when I walked out the building, that's when it hit me. Because right then, you got somebody to come up and tell you got to go see the owner. You go see the coaches. So you're talking to everybody, but you're not getting the opportunity to take all of that in yet. And it didn't hit me until I walked out the building. I got in the car, and it was like, I didn't cry, man, but I sat there and was like, man, is this real? Like, did I just get cut?
Yeah.
Because, I've never been cut for anything in my life.
Right.
And so I think for me, I hate when people say it's humbling, right? Because it wasn't like I wasn't humble. You just didn't see that happening to you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, you know that people pass away and that's part of life, but you don't feel that till there's somebody really, really close to you.
Yeah.
Right.
It's one of those things where I was like, you seen people get cut all the time. I think the year before or around that time, like LT, Darren Sproles, like it was guys, Michael Turner who left and went there. So you knew it was guys who were first round draft picks or so was leaving. So I knew it was at one point it was going to happen. It was just how and when it happened I was shocked.
Yeah.
And so I got home. And I would say like not even a day or two, a couple of days went by. And I think that year, me and Randy Moss, because he was waived too, me and Randy Moss had the most teams ever claim us off of waivers. Because that normally you go through the waiver wire and then you can pick and choose what team.
Right. Then you're a real free
agent. And I think that year, me and Randy Moss had tied for like 4 to 6 teams that picked us up on the waivers. But Buffalo had the worst record. And so Buddy Nix, who was behind AJ Smith, the general manager in San Diego, he was now the general manager in Buffalo. So I remember Buddy Nix calling me and he was like, you know, Shawne, we can really use you out here in Buffalo. And, you know, we talked for like 5 minutes. I said, look, buddy, I love you to death, man, but I'm not coming out there. I'm not going. And it wasn't because of the city of Buffalo. They were 0-6. They were basically knocked out of the playoffs in the middle of the season, right? Not before the middle of the season. They were pretty much done.
Right.
And I said, buddy, look, I love you to death, man, but let me go into a team that may go to the playoffs, right? And then after the season, now you got my word. I'll come. You'll be the first visit I'll take after the season. And he said, no, we want you out here now. And, we think you help us out in the locker room, and I know you can bring. I said, buddy, I hear you, but I'm not coming. I hung up the phone.
On a GM.
Yeah. On the GM.
Mm-hmm.
How quick does he call back?
15 minutes. 15, 20 minutes. And so he called back 15, 20 minutes. He said, Shawne, I just want to let you know we put in your contract in the NFL. I said, buddy, I don't care what y'all doing. I'm not coming. So there it is. I hung up again. Called back right back. And they said, well, if you don't come, it's $25,000 a day. Fine. Mm-hmm. I said, well, when y'all sending that plane?
No fucking doubt. Got to get on there right away.
Dude, so this was like a Monday or Tuesday. I forgot it was a Monday or Tuesday, but they were literally sending the plane the next day. And I said, hey, buddy, and then Russell Brandon was there too, who's the president, I believe, at the time. And I said, guys, just give me till Thursday. Can you send a plane on Thursday? I'm leaving San Diego to come to Buffalo. I need some time to pack and all this other stuff. So I got on the plane, and I looked at the weather in New York.
Yeah,
but I didn't look at the weather in Buffalo, which is
totally different.
Weather. So I got on the sweatshirt, some basketball shorts, some flip flops on the plane. I got my suitcase and all that. And so I got there and I'm landing. Dude, it's a full-on blizzard. It's a full-on blizzard.
Toes frozen when you get off that plane.
Dude, I mean, it's full-on blizzard outside. And I remember stepping off the plane, and then Buddy and then Russell Brandon, these guys, they were at the end of the runway. I couldn't see them. That's how bad the weather was. I couldn't see them. And I remember,
what have I gotten myself?
Dude, I looked up into the sky. I was like, man, I go to church sometimes, like I go do a lot of charity. I started thinking, I was like, man, what did I do?
Why?
What did I do? And I was dreading it, man, not because just really it wasn't just like the city and the weather. It was like they just didn't have it. So you're playing for what?
Right.
They're not going to the playoffs, right? But dude, it was honestly, I'll say that it was the best thing that ever happened to me in my career, because I got out there, man. You got a chance to see that fan base and like those people. And I was just out there this past Sunday with them. Dude, I was like, man, I played, you feel like you were playing for like family, second cousin or, extended for like, I got my mom watching the game, or, you got family at the game, so you can't disappoint them. So I had that feeling with them. Like I couldn't disappoint these people because of the love that they had for their team. Dude, you could be the second or third string kicker and you were the man.
Really?
You get what I'm saying? Like,
yes,
it's all there is out there, bro.
Yeah, man. And
best tailgates ever.
It's something unlike anything. And I know we like a lot of people see the table jumping and all that other stuff, which is how they got on the map, like in a big way because of social media and everything else. But dude, it honestly, I remember I was down eating. I was in a restaurant, Chippewa downtown, and people just walking by me was like, "Yo, what's up, lights?" and kept walking. No pictures, no nothing. And it was just like, dude, like there was a cousin that I haven't seen in a while.
That's cool.
And so cool. It's something I like, man. It's a very, very special place. I wish like all these guys that playing like front of not so great fan bases, or ones that are not really homegrown like those. I wish they get a chance to experience something like that. It's different.
I had myself a little entanglement with the Bills Mafia one time. It was right after my suspension. We played the Bills. The game was like 13-10. And Shaq Lawson, who was like a backup, was like, talk shit. And so I tweeted at him, put my phone down. Like an hour later, I had like 200 responses, just Bills people murdering me. I don't even think you had Wi-Fi up there. They fucking got after me. I will never get an entanglement with them ever again.
Dude, it's
passionate.
It's unreal, man. And I think that for them, there's a lot of pride in like that group. You feel like you're at a college game. Like when I was there Sunday, dude, you don't feel like all the glitz and glamour of the programs. Like you feel like you're at some school in the South, right? A big, you know what I mean? Like tailgating and all this other, like it's just this a different
like
kind
a
of
college
community.
football spirit out there.
100%.
How big of a difference was it between Buffalo and San Diego as far as the fans went?
I think it's so much to do in San Diego.
Yeah.
Right? Like for you to take your 3 hours of your day or 4 hours to go to a game, it was a lot because you got the nice weather, you got food, you got beaches and everything.
Yeah. You can do whatever you want.
You do whatever you want. I think the difference is with us is that we were so good. We had so many stars on the team from LT and Phillip and Gates and all these guys that people came because of the winning.
Right.
You know,
like,
and like,
is this year going to be the year?
Yeah. And so people came there and the Q was rocking, dude. I mean, we had that place ridiculously, like just crazy. And I still, even looking at it now, I get chills because I was always the last one to come out the tunnel every game. And I did that because of Ray Lewis. So my sophomore year in high school, my high school coaches, remember I was living with them at the time. They say, hey, you want to see a linebacker play? And I'm watching football, but I wasn't watching just yet. You know, it wasn't like,
you were digesting.
I was
the game.
Yeah. And so they scraped up some money and they took me to a Ravens game. This is in 2000. Yeah. We sat all the way up there near the light bulbs. We had no money to, so we were like 6 seats up. I could turn around, dude, and like start changing on light bulb and shit. It was like we were. It was the one you're so high up there when you look over, your stomach drop. We were up there.
Great heights.
Yeah, we were up there, and so they introduced everybody. They had all these guys, Sharper and Goose and Sam Adams and Ballware. Like they had Ed. You know, they were stacked. Chris McAllister. They had that team that would only allow 11 points a game or 10 points, something crazy, right? Everybody comes out and the people are loud, and then it just gets silent. A big pause, and the music dropped. It was a Nelly. It's getting so. Ray came out, the fireworks and smoke, and so when I was growing up, man, I used to laugh at people that used to pass out of concerts.
Yeah,
you know, a Prince or a Michael Jackson concert. I'm like, look at this dumbass,
Right.
But he's just a person.
Yeah,
you know, you're just a human. You're a human being. Like, why are you acting like that towards another human being? Right? I always thought it was dumb, dude, until I saw Ray Lewis. And so it came out there and it was quiet. They introduced everybody. It was already loud, but it just got this pause. And then the place went crazy. And I didn't know what was happening. Fireworks, smoke. And then they was playing up Nelly. It's getting hot in here. And he came out and was doing it. And I thought I was going to pass out. Bro, I thought I was going to pass out.
Just seeing this small little speck on the floor. Just so high
dude,
up.
It was so high. If it wasn't for that Jumbotron, I would have thought like ants were down there like moonwalking, right? I would have had no clue. But I saw it and I looked at my coaches and I was like, man, I'm going to make people feel like how I just felt. And so when I got to the Chargers, there was a guy there who was 6 or 7 years in, Quincy Scott, I think his name was, something like that. And he was the last one that was coming out. And I looked at him and said, I'm coming out last from now on.
As a rookie.
Okay.
As a rookie.
That's crazy.
And so you got it. And that's where the whole thing started. But yeah, I for me, I just I was like, man, that shit, it did something to me that day. And I never, when stuff happened to you as a kid, whether it's good trauma or bad trauma, you remember that.
Core memory.
Yes. And I remembered that at that time, and I was like, I looked at my coaches. I said, I'm going to make people feel like this one day, and that was it. That's how I started. I asked to come out last.
Dog, that is
how
awesome.
sick is that, bro? To like look back on your career and know you got to accomplish things that a rare group of people get to do.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it too, man. It's like even now, like when I go back to Buffalo, and I've been retired. I've retired in 13-ish, year. And the game has changed, it's evolved and all this other stuff. And when I came out, like social media was just starting to come around, right? So you see all these guys now, they got like big social media followings. You think now that John had 20 million back then at that time.
Just that big.
Yeah. Cause it was huge, man. It was like it was a lot of shit,
How hard was it to face kind of your mortality in the NFL? Like when you started to just not be able to put it together anymore in Buffalo. you know, the injuries, whatever it is,
Yeah.
like how hard was it to kind of like wrap your arms around, hey, this could be coming to an end for me?
It was difficult because I played the game to be the best at what I do. And once I realized I couldn't be the best anymore, it was hard, that part. But also, too, my career was cut short that I wasn't going to be named one of the best that ever did it in my position, right? No Hall of Fame, none of that stuff because I got hurt. You know, I was injured.
Yeah.
And everything was just kind of derailed. So you had like, I don't know if you call it like resentment or what's the right word? Like
You just kind of feel jaded.
Yeah. You feel that's good. Yeah. So you feel jaded because you knew on the trajectory where you were going. Even the suspension stuff, like people talk about the suspending, like, oh, he fell off. Well, you forgetting, like, I also was an all-pro the following year. All-pro the following year. I was also up there, I think, top 5 or top 7, finished Defensive Player of the Year again. You know, so I think that when people see it, like the longevity, but 07 is when I got hurt. I tore my PCL and LCL, and then everything, and Achilles went like a year or so after that from the compensation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I felt like, man, I was like, damn, I'm never gonna get a chance to get a jacket, and I'm never gonna get a chance to be known as the best, because that's all I wanted. I wanted to be known as the best at what I did. You know, and you went to championships, but it's all those are team things that you can't control. But when you walk away from the game, you want to be known as one of the best that ever did. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do that anymore. So that was the hardest thing to accept.
Yeah.
Knowing that I was going to walk away and I was not going to have another opportunity to go back out there and finish that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's always hard when you figure out the dream's over.
Yeah.
You've been playing it your whole life and you're like, man, this is really the part that everybody talks about. Like eventually you can't do it anymore. It just is a shitty feeling.
Yeah.
When you realize the end is near or you know you're going to retire, how quickly were you jumping into MMA, these entrepreneurial things?
Yeah. So
when did that start?
So in the mid 2000s, I grew up in Maryland and DC. So I had my family members that were professional boxers. My uncles were all professional boxers. So I kind of grew up boxing anyway. And if I didn't play football, I was 100% going to fight. That was like the thing that I was going to do. You couldn't tell me anything different, or that or WWE. It was going to be.
Every listener probably picked that up along this.
Yeah, they were probably yeah. And so you know, I was going to box or going to WWE, which I ended up doing and working with the WWE. But I ended up picking football. So one day I was in the gym in Jay Glazer's gym.
Okay.
From Fox Sports.
Yeah.
And I was hitting the mitts. And he said, like, damn, you can box. I said, yeah, my uncle's boxers, and I boxed a little bit or whatever. Have you ever tried MMA? And I was like, no. He said, well, I think it can help you in football with your hands and, being
coordination.
Being able to open your hips and get around the tackles. And, I said, shit, if it'll help me in football, sign me up. I'm in, right? So he sent me an address off of La Brea in L.A. And the next day I show up. And so I walk in the gym, and Jake Glaze is here, and Randy Couture is right here. So Randy was still fighting at the time.
Yeah.
And so in my head, I'm looking at Jake Glaze. I'm like, no, I'm not fighting Randy Couture today. I just want you to know, that's not why I came. Because you're looking at one of the most badass
in the 2000s.
In the 2000s, dude. Like Randy was the real deal.
Yeah.
I think he actually at 40 or 41 had just won a championship. He was like the oldest champion ever at the time or something like that. And so I went and I worked with him, dude. We were pummeling and working on hands and just kind of doing movement. Bro, I was gassed. Like we didn't even start the workout yet. And I was completely gassed. And when this happened, I realized it was something. He just totally kicked my ass. That he was like, not purposely, but he was throwing me around because using my leverage and body.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand like how he was able to do this. So I was at that point, I became intrigued. And like, how does somebody at 50 pounds less than I am able to just kind of move my body and toss me around like this? I was just intrigued. Or he'll get me in a certain spot and I just couldn't get up. He just keep taking me down. I just couldn't get it. So I text him. I got his number. I text him. Dude, are you in tomorrow? What time? So I'll get done my football workouts and I'll drive up to LA. I'll go because we had that workout bonus. So I had to go get the workout.
Got to get that one.
Got to get it, right? And worked out in San Diego, and I would drive back to LA to go and work out with Randy. So I was going like 3 days a week at this time. And so finally, I just started every offseason, started working with him and started working with Chuck Liddell and started being around Tito Ortiz and all these guys in the mid 2000s. Yeah, even like when Tyron Woodley was coming in and he just really was getting his career going with the UFC. he was in the gym with us. And there was a couple other guys who was badass, like Clay Matthews, really, really good.
Yeah.
I think it might have seen Brian Cushing. Cushing was doing stuff that time.
Yeah.
He's into the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes, I think he's like a brown belt or something like that. I was trying to get Cush to fight for that league. So, and so
he's a psycho too.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
I love Cush,
New
man.
Jersey,
Dude,
bro.
the video of him with his helmet off going right to the offensive line for the Browns face and just splitting his nose.
Yeah, he's
What
a psycho, man. I love Cush. I love Cush.
Psycho.
And so I just trained every off season. So I already kind of knew when I retired, I already knew what I wanted to do. And plus, my rookie year, when I first got my check, I wanted to go buy all the trademarks and rights to Lights Out.
Mm-hmm.
My first thing I did. So when you say big purchase, it was the cars, but the other purchase I did is
the big brain purchase.
Yeah, the big brain
Lights Out
purchase
stuff.
it was a company called PJ Salvage. It was a big pajama company in Irvine, California. I reached out to them. My friend of mine who was a IP attorney, and I said, "Dude, I want to go and get Lights Out." And so I ended up buying Lights Out. I think for like $150,000 or some $140,000 at that time. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do yet, but I knew I wanted to own it and then figure it out.
Right.
So I bought it at that time, and then so when I retired, I knew exactly what I wanted to do, and I started to even train more with MMA guys, and I was also in talks with Bellator.
Yeah.
I was in talks with Bellator. This is like around 2014, 15, something like that, somewhere around that area. It's like 3 or 4 years after I retired that I was going to fight. But at that time, I was like ahead of my time because of what I was asking for money-wise. They looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And now they're kind of seeing with the Jake Pauls of the world and former athletes like Le'Veon Bell's fighting now, and Frank Gore, like all these guys are getting into it. But I was just ahead of my time for the money I was asking.
Yeah.
Now it was, if Shawne, former linebacker for the Chargers and Bills, here.
Right.
It was just
no brainer.
There was no brainer. I just think at that time they just wasn't ready to pay what I was asking for. And then I started to work a lot with the WWE. So I was at the network, WWE Network, when it launched. I was broadcasting the WrestleManias, Monday Night Raws, and SmackDowns, working with them. And then I was at NFL Network or something like that at the time. I was doing broadcasting there. But the goal, where was going to happen was I was going to train at the Performance Center with WWE down in Orlando. So I was spending half the time with NFL Network, and I would go train with the guys in NXT. Because that was gonna be my first show.
Yeah.
And they were trying to fast track me to get me there. And the thing was, it came up why I never really signed. And one of the biggest reasons is that they wanted to own part of Lights Out. Because what people didn't know is like a lot of the WWE, they make their talent.
Right.
They own those names.
Right.
And
so they own their IPs.
Yeah.
And they wanted a piece of yours.
Yeah.
And that's why it didn't work out.
Yeah, that was probably the main reason. Otherwise, they had a bunch of company stuff going on. They launched the WWE Network at the time, and it wasn't doing well. And so they ended up going to Peacock, but they cut like 10% of their entire staff across the company. So giving me a big contract wasn't at the top anymore at that time. And so, but
were you looking to be like a WWE superstar?
Yeah.
I feel like that would be.
I mean, it's
kind of a
it's
no-brainer.
the perfect character.
Yeah.
So what I did was, what kind of kicked it off, they had a show in San Diego. I think it was One Night Stand on pay-per-view. And I was talking to Paul, Triple H, and he was like, "Man, we're coming to San Diego," and we're throwing some ideas back and forth. And I was like, "You know what? Shit, I'm down. Let's do it." And they brought me out to TNA. They brought me out to stands, and CM Punk had actually handed me like a bamboo stick, and I hit Chavez or Chavo one of the times or whatever. So that kicked it off because it was a crazy reaction from the crowd. And so at the time, like Paul and Triple H and everybody from WWE was like, "Yeah, we got something. We got something."
Yeah.
And so we started to just talk and try to figure it out, and it just didn't happen because at the time I think they were going through a lot of company stuff too, and I wasn't about to give Lights Out to nobody because I built that already.
And what were you looking to do? Obviously, you're doing a couple things with Lights Out now.
Yeah,
like I see the Lights Out TV streaming service.
Yeah,
I know you're in kind of with the Bills too, right? You're streaming the East West Shrine game.
Yeah,
that's massive.
Yeah. So what happened was when I got straight into TV, I was the NFL Network broadcast for a couple of years, ESPN. Fox Sports, and those panels are hard because they're only like 4 people.
Right.
Yeah, so you got to think, dude. Like, take a guy like JJ Watt, who is known, everybody love, big following, and now he's Hall of Fame guy. Now he's retiring, it's like as a player, right? That next guy up, they're looking to draft somebody and then get you up out of there.
Right.
And so I was fortunate because I was at the launch of all these networks and shows and stuff like that. So I seen it created. So I ended up launching my MMA league, Lights Out Extreme Fighting, in 2019. So ESPN, UFC just left Fox Sports and went over to ESPN. And so at the time I was shooting at Fox Sports. And so I got up one day and I created a marketing deck. I had somebody on the team put a 4-page marketing deck together. And I think I was talking to Eric Shanks, the president of Fox Sports. It was somebody there, Jamie Horowitz. It was one of the guys I started a conversation with. And I said, hey, are you guys looking to get back in MMA because you just lost the UFC? Mm-hmm. And it was like, Shawne, in fact, we are. We're looking at a couple opportunities. I said, hey, I'm launching my MMA organization. They said, really? I said, yeah. And I put down the marketing deck on the desk. And I left out. I just got off, I think Colin Cowell, I was on the Herd show that day. I go down in the garage. Before I open my car door, my phone rings. And they said, are you still here? And I said, yeah. I said, could you come back up? So
gotta be a great feeling.
It was unreal because when when you're talking to like Shanks or the president of Fox Sports, any one of the execs, you're not expecting them to get back to you no time soon. And I wasn't. I was like, just let you know, I'm launching my MMA league. Here it is, called Lights Out Extreme Fighting. Here it is. So I go downstairs, my phone rings, and I know that the Fox lot number, so I know, like, oh damn, somebody's calling me from Fox. So I went back upstairs. They sent me to FS1 first. And I pitched them the idea, told them what I wanted to do at FS1. They said, we love it. And then they sent me to the regionals. So we had originally started out on Fox Sports West and Prime Ticket. That was my first deal that I negotiated, TV rights. They didn't pay us. They gave us a 2-hour time slot. And I negotiated commercial time. So I sold sponsorship and commercials. So every hour you get about 16 minutes worth of commercials.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I negotiated, gave Fox. The Fox got their 8 minutes. We got our 8 minutes every hour. So I got 16 minutes worth of commercials, plus all those sponsors. So I literally launched this company with sponsors and Fox Sports, and then we went to like 10 other regions in the country, and then the rest was kind of history.
No shit, and that was your brainchild the whole entire time. That is fucking awesome.
So, what's the thought process of like? I guess explain the market of like getting in a world where it feels like the UFC is the premier league for fighting.
Yeah, well, I think that every major league needs a minor league anyway. Mm-hmm. Everyone, I think everyone in UFC, they got, tons of leagues they pull talent from.
Right.
But what you hope to have, like the best talent in yours, so the talent from you keep going there, because it's going to make more and more guys go. And so when we first launched, I think the idea to everybody else, like, oh, you can't be big because UFC's there. It's like, no, that's the opposite. You, first of all, if you're a real feeder, if UFC is looking at you and they're saying, oh, they got like some killers down there, they got some dogs, we can go pull our talent. We know they're going to be able to compete against the guys we have or the guys we match them up against.
Yeah,
because they already been through the ringer when they come to Lights Out Extreme Fighting. So what happened was I started looking around, man, and looking at all sports streaming platforms. Right, I've been at Fox, been at WWE Network, been at ESPN, all these places, and I was like, I know this broadcasting, TV, and streaming, and I had a lot of relationships in the TV business, including streaming, because a lot of them, like CBS was starting to CBS Sports Network streaming, it was kind of pivoting, so I knew a lot of Paramount and Fox and everyone else. So my production, actually, when I first started out, was all like former Fox Sports producers, directors, camera guys. So I had a group. So my production, we looked like we've been around for a decade.
Yeah.
Because we had the eyeballs of, because I understood TV and production. So I started looking around like, shit, nobody out here is really doing all sports, like free ad supported streaming service. And so a couple good friends of mine had launched Pluto. They founded and launched Pluto, the streaming service.
Yeah.
So I actually was around them a lot. And so I was picking up on things and watched the growth to them and then watched the sale to Paramount, So I was like, nobody really focused in on sports and didn't make it free ad supported. So I knew all the players in the business. So I started calling people. I said, hey, how long you got there? You ready to leave? Hey, I got 2 months of my contract. All right, call me when you're done.
Yeah.
And so I started putting everything in place. And so right now, Lights Out Sports TV, we're on every major smart TV in the world, iOS, Android. We got 30 different fast channels there, like motocross, motorsports, TNA Wrestling. You saw was on there too. I did a stunt with them. chess, poker go, World Poker Tours on there, and then we got 300 different sports movies and documentaries. But it's all sports.
No shit.
Yeah, 16 different live sports, and then the big one that I just got was the East-West Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
Practices. So NFL Network still has the game for right now. They have things the last year on the contract, so I don't know what's going to happen after that. But I made up the practice week, so they never really focused in on the practices.
So just like the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl, like when you can watch practice unfold throughout the week.
Correct.
That week leading up to the game is going to be on Lights Out Sports.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's like the most important part of the week. The game is kind of just
We
cherry
know,
on
see,
top.
this is why I really did this, man. I know sports, right? Like I'm not gonna sit up here and try to get in the big picture movies or shoot a lot of original content stuff outside of sports. Like when it comes to sports, as you just said, you started thinking like, why the hell nobody ever done this?
Right.
All these guys are competing to improve their draft stock or to get drafted, and you got GMs there during the week. You got NFL scouts, coaches, owners. Sometime will pop into these things. I was like, this is the show. And so I'm producing the whole week. My production company, we're going in there, and I'm having a damn camera right behind the wide receivers and DBs on one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
The one-on-one defensive lineman against offensive lineman. I'm having the cameras in that, like right there.
Right.
So everybody can see it. But because we played it, and you have, for me personally, it's like an authentic voice behind this to actually like want to do this shit and love it. And so I think eventually, even by the way, that week of the practice is gonna be something unreal. We got cameras and drones, like all kinds of crazy shit. So, a lot of side programming, shows, and talking to coaches, GMs, players. It's really, really gonna be an interactive week. And I'm happy. Like the East West, this is their 100th year. Like this is a big year for them. And so they actually, I brought it up, and they called right back and said, "Yeah, Shawne, we see what you're doing, and we want to be a part of it." And I was like, that was big for me, for them to choose that. And then after that, I get calls from the Indoor Football League is coming over. The IFA is there too. Another emerging football league is coming in. The Women's Football League, number one Women's Football League, we'll possibly have. And then this one that they're showing now, this was the mega monster that we launched about a month and a half ago.
The Ultimate Fan Zone.
Called the Ultimate Fan Zone. And so again, as being former players, we know like the parts of the game that people love to see. And sometimes it's not the game, it's the things around it.
Right. The lead up.
The meet up, the FOMO that you create. Like you can watch the game from anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You can find the game somehow. You can't find a tailgate. And I started thinking, I was like, man, who is really doing this? No one. Again, you would think somebody would have the week of practice for these West Shrine Bowls, the most important week, because some of these guys won't get a lot of playing time anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm like, why not make a week out of it so you make a whole show out of it, which will also be shown in 90 airports.
Yeah, they do it for the Senior Bowl. Why not? Why not the East West Shrine?
Yep.
So if you could get the rights to one thing, what would it be for your production company?
Oh, nice question. Thank you, sir.
NFL preseason games.
No, you don't want a game? You want the preseason?
Yeah, the preseason game, because I think you can get more creative.
I see your mindset. I see where your mindset's at.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. Why fight over what everybody's fighting over when there's money to be made in these other spots?
100%.
Yeah.
And you make it to what people want to watch. Preseason for us, especially when you're a vet, you want this shit to hurry up.
Right.
So
you want to get your 10 plays out of the way, and you want to
you want to get your series or two and be done.
Yeah.
And so, but I think for the fans to get excited about the season, there's so many creative things that I would do for a preseason game to make people watch.
And it's loose.
It's
like
loose.
the players are loose. They feel something about seeing a player with their shoulder pads unbuckled, the jersey up, and a bag of seeds in their mouth.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, there's something about that makes a fan go, bro, he's kind of like us.
Yeah, and
Like,
the only
that's
real
awesome.
thing out there that does it is like what, Hard Knocks?
Yeah,
that's it.
I mean,
Hard
that'd
Knocks does a great
be
job.
the only thing, and it's only on one team. You know what I mean? Because you kind of see the backstory within preseason. Because, like you
100%.
said, no one really cares about you get your series or two, but outside of that, it's like you like to tune in to Hard Knocks because you're seeing the actual reality of it unfold.
Yeah, but if you're able to take one of the top players wearing a bucket hat, hanging out, and you put a microphone on them in the middle of a game, people want to know that stuff.
You
People
can
wanna
get
see that
so
stuff.
creative. Because the thing is, the reason why I created a fan zone, because it's number one fan engagement mechanism you can get to. Like it's the number one. You can't get closer to the fans than that.
Right.
You can be in the stadium, you can watch the games, you can put them on the Jumbotron, but you look, these guys, these are all three former players, my former teammates. Legadoo Nane, Craig, Camarillo, and Kasim Osgood, all guys I played with. And they just, like, this is the ultimate, like, fam, hang out, try food, drink a little bit, cornhole, music.
Yeah.
It's like, it don't get any better than this. And the Buffalo Bills one dropped tomorrow, dude. When I walked in, I just sobered up a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. It was like one of those things
hell
where,
yeah.
dude, it was unreal because they do it different and it's a different setup, right? And so you got ketchup and mustard, guys out there walking in Speedos. It's cold as hell outside, by the way. And you said we got one shot during the show where you see a sea of people. It got to be every bit of 3,000 or close to it.
Yeah.
Just back. This is a tailgate, dude. It's not like it looks like a concert.
Mm-hmm.
So when we drop that tomorrow on Lights Out Sports, it's going to be massive. And, in talks now to get to work with Snoop's youth league football team too. So my thing is I would like to get all 32 teams for tailgates.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Rank them. Tell them what they do good, what they don't. Rate them. The whole thing.
I
bro.
got so many games that tailgates should play against other teams. It's a whole game within a game.
Yes.
And there's so many things I want to do. Hopefully, I'm talking to enough teams now that I think we shot 3 shows with the Chargers, just did 1 with the Bills. I think I got a couple more with the Bills. But mainly, man, just bring it. Dude, you know what I think too? Because I played in San Diego, which is a lot of military, right? And these guys get or women, they get deployed, so they can't come to the tailgate. So all they get is that 2 minute. Yo, I wish you were here.
Yeah.
That, and I'm like, now you can watch your friends and family on the tailgate.
Yeah.
You're there.
Right.
Bro, also, I don't know about this, but why not go overseas where they're at and have a tailgate for them for their teams?
Dude, there's a thing that I just implemented for our fights where you can simulcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm working on that.
Hey.
So a lot of these troops that are overseas, I want something simulcast where we have them separate where they could feel like they're there at that tailgate, even though they're overseas. I'm working on just that.
That's fucking awesome,
Yeah.
man. It sounds like a really cool project. That's got legs right now, rolling.
Yeah, man, it's massive. And this one was shown in 90 airports. It was live in 90 airports, 2,400 plus
That's
gates.
cool, man.
Yeah.
And in the fight game, like, what are like the competitive edges you look to kind of, magnify there?
While you do that, I'm gonna pay.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is we built a platform for ourselves, right? Playing in the NFL.
Right.
And like there's no bigger fan base than NFL football fans.
Yeah.
Always will be king, at least in this country.
Right.
And so you kind of exposing these guys, these up and coming like superstars who trying to make a name for themselves. Like, dude, imagine having a young Conor McGregor, right? A young Ronda Rousey.
Right.
Or something. You get them up there, you kind of build them up, and then UFC give them a call and they become some mega superstar, but they started with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think for us, we're trying to create superstars and give these guys a platform, because we just in the last 2 months, I think UFC signed 2 of our guys in the last 2 months.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah.
awesome. You also do a lot in the charitable world as well, like anti-bullying and everything else.
Yep.
Speak on that, especially coming from the place that you did come from.
Yeah, man. I think I hate bullies. I hate personal bullies. I hate corporate bullies. I hate any bully out there, man, because to me it was like we had this thing growing up. Like I bullied the bully.
Yeah.
It was like the nice guy who was always nice to everybody, but can kick your ass. Like, relax, bro. Like, you're going too far. Like, well, pick up somebody your own size type of deal. And so I always hated bullies. And then obviously we talked a little bit like how I grew up, and we were homeless a couple different times and whatnot. I started this winter coat drive at the University of Maryland. That I got my 23rd annual coming up.
Oh, that's awesome.
On the 16th, which is in 2 weeks. And so this thing has been going, now I got a 14-year-old son, and he's in Jersey, so they all drive down. He's there at the cold drives and stuff. And hopefully after my ass is gone one of these days, that, he'll continue it on, because, we were homeless, dude. And I remember those winters we were cold as hell. We couldn't afford coats. We actually put like socks on our hand. We put on 3 sweatshirts because we couldn't afford a nice coat. You know what I'm saying? And so I got this coat drive in 2 weeks. It's my 23rd annual. We've collected over 30,000 coats over 22 years.
That's amazing.
No shit.
Yeah. Just 23rd annual one coming up here in a couple weeks.
In 2 weeks.
That's awesome.
At the University of Maryland. Yeah.
What's your biggest piece of advice to kids that you do like identify with that kind of see that could potentially be on a similar path that you were on?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I try to tell them is there's always light at the end of the tunnel. Like when I was when we were going through as much stuff as I was, like my son, right? My son's ranked number 14th in the country, quarterback.
Oh, no shit.
I think it's number one in Jersey. I think he did that shit to spite me, to be honest.
We need to make him a Husker.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I'm trying to call him from Maryland. He was just at the Syracuse game last week, and they're Syracuse love him. But I think for me, like going through what I went through now, because I was always constantly asking myself, like, shit, why I didn't do anything wrong. Like, I'm a good kid. I go to school.
Yeah.
You know, I fight a little bit, you know, like, but that's the most you got out of me. And I was like, man, why does this shit happen to me? Like, why do I gotta come home and there's no food?
Right.
So you question yourself a lot, and you know, good times don't always last. Neither does bad.
Right.
And so, you know, any of these young kids out there that's going through something or feel down because suicide rates are up and like a lot of depression and anxiety and all this shit, just remember that there's always light, no matter what. There's always light, no matter what you're going through. It might be another week, might be a month. You might even have a bad year or some shit. Just know that you'll get through it and you'll be fine. And so I think that especially younger kids, when they're going through it and they got no outlet.
Right.
And I was so fortunate that football was an outlet for me, because I feel bad. You know, people ask all the time, well, would you let your son play football? I'm like, yes. Fuck yeah.
100%.
I mean, because there's so many things I learned from the game that if I didn't play, I would have never been able to survive in life.
Right.
I 100% believe if I didn't play football, I wouldn't be sitting there right now, because it was an outlet for me. And it also taught me a lot of things, like overcoming. Like, dude, I mean, some of those summers you're in training camp, you're running those half gases and shit, dude. Like, you got to be a different individual sometime to.
Right. The work ethic.
Man.
Discipline, everything that comes involved with being a football player.
The selfless nature you kind of have to create with
100%. You know, dog tired and it's fourth down and fourth quarter, you trying to get through it. You can't just go out there and quit because people are relying on you.
Yeah, unless you're a quarterback for the Colts, you do whatever you want. You
tap out and just go take a couple plays off.
Just go take a couple plays off, whatever you want.
Why not?
It's just part of the deal, man. No, it's good advice. It's good advice because football does teach you so much more than X's and O's.
I mean, there's very few people in the world that's going to put their shoulder, their finger, or something back in place and get back in the game.
Right.
Throw some tape on that shit. Like, just you look back on it now. Like, that was some sick shit. You know, like how just our mindset and how like we looked at everything, like, you know, pain was weakness.
It's interesting looking out the world now and you see like a couple people get hurt, like you might be out with somebody and they like roll their ankle and they make it a big deal out of it. And you're like, bro, come on.
Right.
Just like we know it's low.
And with family involved now, you get removed from the game long enough and you just start to have just a different perspective. And you see the fishbowl and the bubble that players get in mentally, and you just know like, you have no clue until you get out of it. That what you're sweating right now is just it's a weird psychology.
You shouldn't get out of it either, because the minute you zoom out a little bit and realize like if you're not 100% focused on this thing, you're fucked. Absolutely fucked.
Yeah. But the crazy thing is you don't see that stuff until you get away from the game a little bit. You start looking at everything. It's like, even now, dude, you guys, I asked my favorite teammates. I'm like, shit, man, I played on the team with LT.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember walking in as a rookie and looking at LT like he was Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just LaDainian.
Bro, just people being like, I can't believe you played with this person. That was your actual friend.
Right.
Someone you hung out with.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. Should we get a twisted question?
Yeah, let's get this twisted question, because I'm excited about this one.
Go ahead. Can I get that Twisted Tea ad real quick? Let me tell you about Twisted Tea. It's actually a phenomenal little drink here. Twisted Tea is a refreshing hard iced tea made with real brewed tea and 5% alcohol. It's full of flavor, and by the way, very refreshing. Twisted Tea goes down smooth. There is no carbonation, makes it easy to drink all day long. Twisted Tea feels fun, celebrates extreme fandom on game day. It is the perfect alcohol or beverage for game day, whether tailgating in a parking lot, watching at a bar, or watching with friends at home. Twisted Tea is there to turn up your game day. Keep it twisted. Grab a refreshing Twisted Tea today. I have a feeling the Buffalo Bills fans are massive Twisted Tea people.
Yeah. I needed some Twisted Tea yesterday, dude. That 5%, whatever we were drinking, it was at least 50. For sure. Twisted Tea, wherever the hell y'all at, I could have used you yesterday because I needed 5%. I needed something smooth. That shit we were drinking yesterday, burn holes in your chest.
There you go.
And sternum and everything else.
Twisted Tea just makes you feel good all day long. This Twisted question is brought to us by Sherman.
Or Mitch.
Whichever
one. Whichever one.
Wants
Some enthusiasm.
All right. Twisted question this week kind of goes off of your Lights Out network and your Lights Out Extreme Fighting. To save the world, would you rather have 100 tries to beat Brock Lesnar in his prime or 1,000 tries to hit a hole-in-one?
Brock.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
That is a very This is him in his prime.
Yeah.
You understand that. National championship at the University of Minnesota Wrestling. Was a superstar at the WWE.
Yeah.
Heavyweight champion of the world, the UFC.
Yeah.
That's who you're taking 100 times.
Yeah, I wouldn't need 100 though, to be honest.
That's the
How
exact.
many tries you think it would take?
Oh God.
Because listen, if you were in the driver's seat to save the world out of these two options, I'm elated to hear you say Brock Lesnar. I'm like, okay, I do think that's our best shot.
Yeah. Probably not very many, to be honest. Yeah.
Why is that? Where do you see the flaws in his game? What's going on?
He couldn't stand up with me. He's a great wrestler. Great. If you're saying that he'll wrestle and take me down, I would not argue with that.
You got 100 tries.
Yeah. But if he gets close enough where he's standing up with me, he doesn't have a shot.
Yeah.
So,
Dog, hey, that is the way you said it made me believe you. But also,
I heard he talked shit on your PED and getting Pro Bowl.
Yeah, that's why I went.
There you go. Him and
You gotta
Jason
get me
Taylor.
in Sean's corner. Like, hey, bro. He was talking some crazy
talking
shit.
wild. I'll tell you this, dude. I have played 9 holes of golf in my entire life. I don't care for golf one bit. I'm doing the 1,000 shots.
You're doing 1,000 shots.
Yeah, dude. I'm just not once upon a time. And
Yeah.
I think we talk about getting further removed. It seems like you've kept your edge for me.
Yeah.
I see people warming up. I'm like, God damn, I did that. That is crazy.
Yeah. No, I definitely did have to look back from like getting cut blocked and shit. I'm like, sometimes I'll grab my legs and my knees will lift
In
them
the
up.
middle of the
I know
night.
sometimes you watch
night.
these cats play now and you're just like, I can't believe I was out there like doing that.
You
This
see
shit,
Saquon
feel it.
Barkley yesterday
Dude.
doing the things he did. Be like, oh my God.
Listen, when he did that shit, I grabbed both of my meniscus.
I said, see you
Dude,
fucking
I was like,
later.
dude, I would have came down. My patella and my meniscus would just fell right out of the side of my legs.
No
I'm
doubt.
done.
No doubt. But hey, good luck with Brock Lesnar. Will?
On the twisted question?
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, are we talking part 3 here?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Of course.
For sure.
I would say the 1,000 tries of golf. Like, no matter what, like you get 100 tries, like you gotta think that one can land, and maybe all you need is one. Maybe I'm crazy,
Right.
but I would say your best bet is 1,000 tries.
Just
on, like,
think
a
about
par
when
3.
you're on like attempt 57 and fucking he knocks you out and then you guys just both reset to being totally
The first
fine.
one would happen. I'd be like, we might be fucked, everybody.
Yeah.
Because I'm not built like Sean.
It'd be like day after tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, nothing. Why I didn't pick the golf is because I know people that play golf almost every day and still suck.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't feel confident that I will go out there because I'm watching people who do this for a living and who still come out some days and just look terrible.
Yeah.
That's why I don't like golf now. I'm just like, dude, if I do something like repetitive, because we're told as athletes, you do something 10,000 times, you're gonna do what? You'll be great.
Yes.
Right. Master.
You cannot be great doing that 10,000 times. You can come out, look great one day, and then come out the next day and lay a goose egg.
Yeah.
True, but all you need is that one. You just need that one to
Yeah,
save the world.
yeah.
You see yourself, are you going to be fighting at some point?
So I'm not against it. This is what I'm saying. I'm not against it, but I do respect these guys. I've jumped in training camps. I've sparred. I still spar. I sparred a couple weeks ago at Randy Couture's gym up in Vegas. So I like to be around the guys. That's more importantly, I like to be around the guys and spar and stay with it because I feel better discipline wise.
Yeah.
You know, like I think when we get done, dude, it's like we feel like bums a little bit, like we can't compete anymore.
Yeah.
So I think I walk in some days, I'm like, oh shit, I can still go, like I can still do it.
Yeah.
But the difference is that, and like us, it's like the pros versus Joes, when people start talking shit, like, dude, listen, I will knock your head off, right? You put on a pair of pads and a helmet, I will literally knock your head off. And so these fighters, like, they do this for a living. Like, these guys train 6 days, 7 days a week, sometimes twice a day.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to go down that path unless I was fully committed. Because right now, dude, like with Lights Out Sports, I'm on a plane every 5 days. You know, if I'm not meeting with a venue or casino or some kind of arena, it's a sponsor, it's like a nonstop distribution deal. Like, we got some stuff possibly in the works coming to UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah.
That we're going to announce here soon too. And so I'm doing these deals, you know, and so I'll get in the gym now and I'll spar and train when I can.
Right.
As opposed to that's what I'm doing.
What about like a celebrity type of
You fight Jake Paul?
Yeah, for
you
sure.
beat Jake Paul's ass,
For
wouldn't
sure.
you?
He's just
I see in
too
your eyes.
small. I think Jake is really good. I've been saying this for like 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that Jake, when I first seen him train, and Shane Mosley had called me one day, and I watched this in 2019, and Shane said, "Hey, come up to my place in Big Bear and watch this kid Jake Paul train. Like, he can actually go." And so I did. I drove up to Shane Mosley's place, and I stayed that week, and I trained with him. And I watched Jake Paul work, and I was like, dude, he's going to be really good. Like, really good. He was running up. We've been around athletes our whole life, so we know an athlete when we see one.
Yeah.
Running up the hills, digging, like pushing himself, like doing stuff that the normal person doesn't.
Just know.
You just,
Right.
I just
He has
knew.
that drive.
He has that drive.
What's your stance on the Mike Tyson fight? Him and Mike Tyson.
I think if it gets outside of the third round, it's all Jake. I think Jake will hurt him bad.
Really?
Yeah, because Mike, the power never really, you don't lose the power as much. One of those inside shots will clip you. He can knock Jake out still at almost 60 years old.
Yeah.
Those inside punches, body punches, head movement, all that stuff Mike still has. One of those land, it's going to hurt Jake bad. After the third round, Mike is just going to get tired. He can't go. I mean, his power and his stamina, his movement after the third round is just going to tank.
Mm-hmm.
Because your body just can't at that age. It's the stamina that goes. Like somebody asked me now, could I play? I go a lineup right now, give you 12 plays. I'm not saying it'll be great,
Right.
but I can do it. But if you ask me to play 20, 25, I can't.
It's not
Achilles
happening.
gonna go.
Achilles gonna go.
Yeah.
The knees
are
gonna
buckling.
spoon up. Like,
Yeah.
you can't,
Yeah.
but
all
I
of a sudden
go.
that neck pain you forgot about.
Oh,
that,
for sure.
That shit's back.
For sure. So I think Mike is going to look great for 3 rounds. And he got a chance to clip Jake Paul and knock him out.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least hurt him enough where he's not as dominating on the last round.
Right.
As a person who's boxed before, there's a bunch of rumors, obviously, that Jake Paul's fights are rigged.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to that in your mind?
This is why I don't believe that those things true. Because if you're caught, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole, like all the millions. So if you're caught doing any of this stuff, you're done. And nobody's going to come to a fight anymore. You're not going to get pay-per-views. You're not going to get paid. So that one risk that you don't know that if it does get out that you're rigging fights. This is why I said, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying with this amount of money and situation on the line, it's going to be hard to rig because it's take one person from somebody's camp to say, hey, I was paid such and such to take a dive.
Right.
Once you do that and somebody find proof of that, you're done. Just get out the sport. So he's making too much money, has too much opportunities, including his other businesses and everything he promotes, to be tied to rigging fights. So I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying for him, it's too risky to do.
Yeah. I feel you. I get it. I like that response too. I think Jake Paul is going to see that clip. He's going to really appreciate it.
Yeah.
He's going to like that. Should we hit the tier talk?
I'm down. I'm down to hit tier talk.
Do you want to explain tier talk?
Yeah, so tier talk is we're going to do best personal celebrations. You got tier 3. You start at tier 3, work your way up tier 2, tier 1. It's basically your top 3 all time. You're going to say what your celebration is. So it might be the lights out celebration. You give a little sizzle. You give a little feedback on why you think it belongs in that tier. And then that is tier talk. That is tier talk.
That is tier talk.
Tier talk.
As we think, do you have to go to the restroom?
No, I'm good.
I have to hit the restroom.
I'm going to look up. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Sports Drink. Real hydration, real ingredients, packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. Body Armor Sports Drinks has great tasting flavors like the strawberry banana and the orange mango. Always delicious. Show them that bottle real quick. Phenomenal stuff every time you put it in your body. Get yours today at Walmart or at your local grocery store near you. Let's get back to this episode. I think I'm way outgunned in this one. I think
there's a lot of celebrations.
I think my opinion, but I think my opinion is not gonna.
You want to start?
Yeah, I'll start it.
Go ahead and start it off.
I want to see this dab first.
Oh, that was the one with a little sugar on it. That was Dallas.
Whoa.
Yeah. I sat the second half. We were going into the playoffs. Coach, need to rest my legs.
Coach, need to rest my legs.
So you exerted a little bit more energy because you knew that you had to.
Yeah.
The gentleman's dab.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to go up by saying, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'm not going to tell you guys what I feel. I think the simplicity of a celebration goes a long way with me. The elaborate's all that I feel like gets old after a while. My tier 3 is going to go to the OG Feed Me. Coined and started by the Denard Robinson, Shoelace Robinson. He was actually the individual that started that celebration. Did it against Ohio State. Who picked it up a year later? Ezekiel Elliott. You be the judge. My tier 2.
So it's one every tier.
Yeah. So tier 3 is like the bottom. And then tier
got
2,
it.
and then tier 1's your favorite. My tier 2, this is going to sound crazy, but a touchdown being scored, a home run being hit, you meet the other individual, not a whole lot of celebration, just a handshake.
Okay.
I think the handshake goes a long fucking way.
Yeah.
And my tier 1, and this might be my old man or everybody's old man saying, act like you've been there before. But when somebody rockets off a crazy play and they don't even act like nothing fucking happened, and they'll walk off. That to me is the best celebration out there. Derrick Henry is probably the number 1 person doing that right now. I think the walk off.
So the no celebration.
The no selling.
I was gonna say no
the
selling.
no selling. Like this dude's just been doing this forever.
You're like the dad talking about the Walter Paytons and Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
You know, like they never
They
celebrate
just-
when
they
they got
never
the
did
field,
it.
right? Yeah.
They
See
never
him,
did
son, he
nothing.
goes and hands the ball to the
Right,
referee.
When you
right.
see that, now I am a celebrator. I am. If I was the one scoring touchdowns, you see me come up with something new every single week. However, to me, when I watch it from a distance, I see somebody just score a touchdown, have an insane play, and then the walk up, no celebration. You're like, yo, this dude just must know something that we don't know. And that is my tier talk. Now, what Will didn't tell you is we're going to go around the room, and everyone's going to give one word to say how they feel about your tier talk. We'll start with Will.
Basic.
Okay.
Basic.
Short and sweet, hyphenated.
Lame.
Jack?
Michigan.
That was nasty.
It's kind of boring a little bit.
Boring.
Okay, boring a little bit hyphenated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Hyphenated.
boring a little bit
It's a little
hyphenated.
boring.
That's a good. That should be a quote graphic for Coop.
Yeah. Yeah.
My tier 3 is going to go to Chris Johnson's touchdown celebration. I felt like I remember being at Nebraska and guys are trying to mimic his celebration. What does he call it? Chop City?
Juking, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. When Chris Johnson was scoring touchdowns, everybody was glued to the TV. People are trying to mimic it. My tier 2 is going to be, he had talked about it earlier, the Ray Lewis pregame ritual coming out of the tunnel. I mean, just iconic, especially if you're a linebacker. Like watching him do that, captivate an entire stadium to the point to where the man can still go out and do it and the stadium goes crazy. That's legacy. That's what Ray Lewis is about. My tier 1 is going to go, I'm going to enter in the wrestling world. WWF, WWE, the D Generation X, the suck it sign.
Yeah.
Like that was taking the world
I
by
didn't even think
storm,
about
bro.
that. Yeah.
And that is my tier 1, where it changed culture. And that is D Generation X.
Yeah. Dude, that was like an era, like that was the attitude era.
Yeah,
that
bro.
that was the attitude era, dude. Like I don't give a shit who you were. I saw like grandmas doing that shit.
Yeah.
Like, grandmas are doing it. Yeah.
That's my tier talk.
Good.
You hated that.
I hated it because you're just I was like, what am I doing?
They said no celebration was the tier 1.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after.
Groundbreaking.
Youthful.
Attitude.
Hyped.
That's good.
From one of the
go.
hype men himself. Yeah, you're right. Shawne,
Am
you
I-
have the
am I
floor.
up?
You have the floor.
Tier 3. I'm gonna go to Dikembe.
Okay. Yeah.
I had time to think, so I'll come out strong. I'm gonna go to Dikembe with the wag. I'm gonna go Ray Lewis. Well, I'm gonna pick somebody because I would pick he got Ray. Let's go. This is a sleeper, bro, who I used to like a lot. Is Jared Allen, the rope.
Yeah, bro.
All right.
That's a
The hog
good
tie.
one.
The
Great
hog tie.
pull.
Okay.
You got to be all football, any sport.
It can be any sport. I went WWE
I'm gonna
for the last one.
I'm gonna go Ronaldo.
What does Ronaldo do? I'm sorry. I'm not a.
Yeah.
The
That's an iconic
jump
one.
and the.
Yeah,
All right. Cultured.
yeah.
Solid.
Elite.
Unreal.
International.
Yeah.
This man, y'all
I got,
glazing like
I got an
crazy.
international tier.
That was a great one.
That is good.
That was solid.
Hey, but yours, I mean, come on now.
You know, so the first time when I did that, when that hit against Georgia Tech, my coach yanked me out the game. He pulled me out. And so I got the light switch from, I'm pretending to do turning the light switch on and off. But at the time, I just pointed at it. And the crowd got louder. And I just, out of nowhere, I started jumping. I didn't plan it.
Yeah. Just the body taking over.
It's just,
This is in that first game, or this is how it developed
This
over
was the
time?
first game. Yeah,
Okay.
this was like, when I came off, and the video didn't show up. When it came off, I was jumping up and down and doing it. My coach yanked me out the game. Ralph Regent did. And he said, if you ever do that shit again, you'll never play here again. This is what he told me. So I go from up here because I had a big ass hit on ESPN, like everybody's watching, like crowds, ooh. So I went from here to like here in 2 seconds. And I got on the sideline, and my defensive coordinator, Coach Blackney, and everybody's like, what was that? What was that dance? You know, so just how people
flipping the switch.
It's called the lights out dance. I just threw that shit out there. I didn't think it was gonna stick, and it stuck. And that's how I just kept.
What made you do it again? Like, was it your D coordinator? Like, hey, keep that shit up?
I just pointed at it after that because I got a penalty.
Yeah.
And I got yanked out the game.
Yeah.
But when I got into the league, it was like all bets were off. It was like,
do whatever you want.
Oh, shit. Man, I went, dude, it was, even now, dude, I'll go like in the country and I'll see people doing this shit across the street. It's the craziest thing ever. I was in Miami probably about 6 months ago. And was going to what's the steak joint down at Prime? I was going to Prime. It was a group of people, like 5 or 6 people in the car, like pulled up on a curve almost. So I'm thinking I'm like about to get robbed or some shit. I'm like, what is going on? They like literally drove up on the curve, and one guy jumped out and the other guy stuck their arm out the windows doing this.
Let's fucking go.
And I was like, yo, that was so, not just, I was bending over, bro, because I couldn't even stand up, and I was laughing my ass off, and I was like pouring down tears. But it's cool, man, to see people still doing that.
Yeah.
You probably had a run.
Legacy.
It probably still happens where Halloween just happened.
Yeah.
To where the Mohawk was going, the
plenty of
jerseys
that.
are on.
There's plenty of that, yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. You got any more questions?
Dude, this has been all time. Like,
No,
when
man.
you were doing it, I was in high school, I was in college. Like, you were the fucking man, bro. And it was fun to watch you then. And it's crazy to think now at 35 years old, I have a podcast and you were sitting on the bus.
No, that's
So
awesome,
thank
man.
you so
No,
much,
appreciate
bro.
y'all, man. That's, dude, I tell anybody, obviously launching the streaming platform, people don't know the difficulty of launching your own shit.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work behind the scenes, and people see it, but they don't know what all goes into it. And it's those days you're trying to figure shit out. Is this working? Is that not working? And you kind of on your own in a way. And it's a big risk. I launched my own damn streaming service. I was at Fubo getting 6-figure checks a fight, and so I finally was just like, fuck it. I can do this shit on my own.
Yeah, diving off the deep end on your own.
Just jump out there and do it. And so people don't understand the work that's, kind of required into doing this. The sleepless nights, like, oh, are we doing it right? Or we got to put some more money here?
Right.
There's a lot of figuring out to do. And, I always say this, man, people are jealous or envious of the results, but they're never jealous of the work.
Right.
They're never, jealous
that's
of
a
the
bar
work.
too. That's a
what I'm
nice
saying?
quote.
And people are just jealous, or they hate. And I'm like, man, you're hating. But if you knew what I had to do to do this shit, you guys go and get your own facility, your own, everything. If you're jealous of or hating or whatever the case is, that you want that, but you don't want that. You don't want that work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, kudos to y'all, man, and congrats. And I'm a big fan of the show. If you look back at like the last 20 shows y'all, I've liked everything. You know what I'm saying?
Let's fucking go.
You know what I mean? It's
I'm
just
glad we can
congrats.
put the old Instagram comment to bed with Vernon.
Yeah. Full circle.
Yeah.
No doubt, man.
We
But
do
seriously,
appreciate
thank
it.
you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Like, subscribe, big hugs, tiny kisses.
Let's get a photo real quick.
Yep.
Yeah, bro. Hey, that was awesome.
No, I
Dude,
do appreciate it, bro.
Seriously,
Appreciate it.
stories run real.